The Buffalo Bills got back to work today as they get ready to travel down to South Florida to take on the Miami Dolphins this Sunday at 1. We did hear from head coach Sean McDermott. We had a bit of a lengthy injury report today. Joey Bosa wrist and James Cook ankle join AJ Epinesa, Taron Johnson, Daquan Jones, and Shaq Thompson as non-participants today at practice, while Josh Palmer and Terrell Bernard were expected to be limited. We will get official word later on today. And we also heard from general manager Brandon Beane following the trade deadline yesterday, and Beane was candid in issues the Bills ran into yesterday with teams in the division being the ones offloading talent.
It takes two to tango, and we tried on quite a few, and a lot was just, we're not moving them, and some was we ran into a couple teams in our division we're trading and couldn't get a lot of interest there.
You can listen back to both GM and Coach up at our website, WGR550.com, or on the Odyssey app. And we'll get more on what we heard from today. Sal Capacio does join the show at 5, so do stay tuned for that. A look at the Bills' opponent. They have a pretty big injury going into this Sunday. Linebacker Chop Robinson was not at practice today as he continues to be in concussion protocol. And then for the Sabres, just practiced today. They'll host St. Louis tomorrow. Head coach Lindy Ruff said with the media Tyson Kozak has a chance to play tomorrow. Matthias Samuelsson had the day off today. He should be good to go as well. And then a little bit of an update on Josh Norris, as Ruff said he is back to skating, but no timetable on when he will return. And then in the NHL tonight, just 5 games. Utah at Toronto at 7. Washington hosts the Blues at 7:30. At 9:30, Calgary has the Blue Jackets in town. And then 2 games at 10. Vancouver hosts Chicago, and the Kraken host San Jose. And Sports Talk on WGR is presented by Paramount+. You can't count on much, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount+. Watch every NFL game live every Sunday all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody?
Monday, Tuesday, hump day is halfway. It's Mike Schopp.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
And the Bulldog.
Hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
Guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-hoo!
On WGR.
Hump day!
Sports Radio 550.
Oh, it's more than that. It is European geography for 1600. Ken. See how current we are? Ken.
Ken. Yeah, good job. Good job there.
Did I watch Jeopardy last night or the night before?
Both.
No. It's once in a while.
So I'd take a shot.
I think it was probably Monday. And there was the oldest contestant I think I've ever seen on Jeopardy. W.A. was his name.
All
and
right.
he had a chair. Have you ever seen a Jeopardy contestant sitting in a chair? He was old. It wasn't a problem. It was probably fine.
You're not exaggerating how old this person was by saying they had a chair. They really had a chair?
Yeah. He might have been in his 80s.
I can't remember the last time I watched Jeopardy. It's just not something I think to turn on when I get home. I'm always right to a game by the time I get in front of the TV. So, but a chair sounds unprecedented to me.
Yeah, it was fine. He finished second. I don't know if you get a better prize for second than third. But we're in here talking maps. This is one thing that's great about soccer is that it brings out conversations about where places are. For instance, Belgium. But I think we're good. You sold yourself a little short.
I did, yeah.
On your knowledge of European geography.
Yeah, you brought this game we're watching here, Barcelona and
Bruges.
You guessed Belgium and
not Borussia Dortmund.
And I believe you're right. I mean, it was in Spanish, but I think that said Belgium at the bottom of the screen there when we turned it on. And I said I'm not 100%. I think I don't know anything about Belgium. Like, I'm not even sure if you gave me a map of Europe with the lines all drawn, but, like, no names on the countries, that I could tell you where Belgium is.
Mm-hmm.
And you said something to the effect of, come on, it's not. There's like only one mistake you could possibly
That's what
make.
I said.
Right.
I think you could only miss it by one.
And then I thought about it a little bit, and I thought, okay, I know, World War II, Belgium, France, Germany, it's around, it's there, and it's small, and I bet on the map I probably could find it. And the one mistake I could make would I could make that mistake because it's Netherlands right on top of it. So I did sell myself a little short. I think I could have probably found Belgium on a map. In 2 tries for sure, if
I
not
think
one.
now you definitely could.
Oh, there's no question now. But even once I thought about it a little bit, I thought, it probably isn't that hard. Like, I'm thinking it's on the left, it's like as we're looking at it.
So to speak.
Looking at the map, right? Like it's on the western edge of Europe is what I would assume.
It's on the French border.
Okay.
And on the water. So it's west of Poland.
Yeah.
If that's what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
It's not on the coast. It's on the ocean.
It's on the ocean.
It's not on the ocean.
It's not on the. It is not. Oh, I thought.
No, it borders France, and then France is on the ocean over here.
Oh, okay.
For those of you watching or not watching, I'm going like this.
Well, I could have sworn the map you just showed. Anyway, whatever. So yeah, I had a pretty good idea where I thought it might be. I remember reading, books about World War II and like Belgium, whatever. I think I would have gotten it.
At Bulldog WGR,
everyone
at Schopp Talk, hashtag
really
where is Belgium?
Thrilled about all this.
Belgium, according to AI, the U.S. state closest in size to Belgium is Maryland. But that's not even a good comparison because Maryland is all just like stretchy.
Yeah, right.
It's not sort of round.
Yeah, it's weird. It's got that like little detached leg hanging down or whatever that is. It's kind of messed up.
But it says here that Mississippi is 4.5 times bigger than Belgium.
Right. Where I did a terrible job was guessing. You said what U.S. state might be closest in size to Belgium, and I guessed Ohio, which is a terrible guess.
I think it is. That's a bad guess.
Ohio might be bigger than any country in Europe.
You know what? Maybe.
I wonder if it's bigger than any country in Europe.
Maybe.
We're here. Not that we can't revisit this.
803-0550.
But do you want? There's been a development in my outlaw status in Spain.
Well, Belgium just scored, so go ahead.
Oh, okay. It's funny. You look like you're writing something down that just happened in the soccer game, which would be hilarious. Just cannot be what you're doing. All right. So for folks who don't know, I went to Spain with my wife and a big group 2 summers ago. And while I was there, I got a speeding ticket. I didn't know that I'd gotten the speeding ticket until many months after we had returned home. Like it was maybe even the fall of that summer, the fall following that summer, I got a notification like, hey, you're whatever, 93 and an 80. It's 100.
93 and an 80 is a ticket?
Yeah. Here's it's $100 fine, but if you pay it now, it's $50. And I'm normally a person who pays. I get a parking ticket. I'm online 10 minutes later. Like I just want to pay. Just want to get it over with. I have done that even with city parking tickets, where I'm in the system too fast. Like my ticket's not even in the system yet because I got the ticket and went, oh, I'm just going to pay this.
This is like when you lose the golf bet.
Right.
You'll pay off the golf bet before the tournament's over.
Right. So anyway, this thing.
Not me.
I thought, like, I've never been to Europe before. Could this be some sort of a scam? Like, someone has access to the database from rental car companies and, like, let's see, So I'm just not going to do anything with this. And months went by. 6 months went by. Second notice comes. Same thing. Except now the deal is gone. It's a $100 fine, and it is no longer available for me to settle it for $50.
They're trying to scare you.
I got to pay the whole $100, right? So I'm like, and eventually I get around to asking one of the other couples, the husband in one of these other couples that was with us. I said something about it. I said, oh, that happened to us too. We got a ticket too. And did you ever pay it? He's like, I don't know. I have no idea. His wife handles that kind of stuff, is what I come to find out.
Must be nice.
And I never thought to ask her about it. So months and months go by again. This week, maybe Monday when I got home, boom, here's a third notice. And it's not any more threatening than the previous two, but it's just, $100. There's a little QR code, scan this and it'll take you to a website, yada, yada. So I reach out to my friend's wife. She's also my friend too. But anyway, Beef said you guys maybe got a ticket when you were in Spain. Did you ever pay it? I'm just kind of curious what the process was like because I haven't paid mine and I just got a third notice. And she said, yeah, I got around to paying it because I was going back to Europe and I wanted to rent a car and I just didn't want any trouble. So she's like, yeah, I paid it. All right, I'm gonna take care of it. So the whole time though, right, for a year and a half here, I've been skeptical about this being a scam. So I scanned, but I'm like, all right, you did it. I'm gonna do it. I scan the QR code. There's a login and a password that I got on the document that I was sent, and I enter all that. And what pops up is a picture of the car. Like it's us. I'm like, I guess this isn't a scam. Like that's the car. I mean, it could have been, I guess, you can't see me driving or anything, but it's like, yeah, I guess this is for real. I'll just pass.
You paid the ticket.
I paid the ticket.
Wow, just like that, it's over.
I thought it's gone on long enough. They're clearly not letting it go. I thought maybe, they would try a couple times and eventually just sort of give up.
You could have gotten off for 50.
But if I'd have done it originally, that's right. But it was just so funny to me that whatever old man scam skepticism I had, just as soon as I hit the login information, like, yeah, that's us. That's the car. Yeah, okay.
How do they?
I guess I'll just pay this. Like, these scammers didn't set up roadside cameras. I mean, I think this is real, so I'll pay the $100 now. So
I'm disappointed.
Yeah, well,
93 and an 80 is literally those are the numbers.
Yeah.
Well, that's what.
I think that's what it said. I should check again, but I think
what
it was
12%.
93 and an 80 is what I got.
Can't you go 78 on the thruway? 65?
That's
worse.
Not if there's cameras.
No, yes, you can. Everybody knows this. Everybody knows the thruway number is really 78.
All right, sure. I speed like crazy on the thruway and have for my whole life. I've never gotten dinged.
You'll never get a ticket going. I don't want to sound like an authority.
Yeah.
I mean, the people that go by me at like 90, I feel like all have police stickers because they know there's no chance of ever anything bad happening.
Right.
But, I don't have that. I turned one down. So I'm just sort of bragging, maybe. So 78 has always been my number since college, like 30 years. That's been my number, 78. In Spain, you can't go 93 and an 80. You got busted for that. And they kept coming, and they got a picture of your car, and it's a third notice, and the discount's gone, and your friend can't help you. I mean, I would have gone to the wall on this. Yeah. I don't even know you anymore. How do you give in just because you logged in and you saw your picture? I mean, okay, well, it's not a scam, but what are they going to do? Interpol? Is Interpol coming for you? I mean, what's happening? What's the next step? The fourth notice is the next step.
Probably.
What's going to happen?
But like I said, I would have paid it right. I would have paid it right away, except for my skepticism. And then we talked about it on the air, and I kind of like the idea of having this, this thing to talk about how I have an unpaid speeding ticket from Spain.
Who was it, Darius? You have these Bills players sometimes will get like the 70 and a 25 in a school zone or something.
Yeah.
Like, all right. I mean, you should go to jail for that.
Well, I still have I'll check. I can't check now because I don't have access to it. I don't have that login information memorized, so I don't think I'm going to get there. But
it's over.
I'll check to make. I think it was 93 and an 80 is what it said. Maybe it was 103 and an 80. I don't know. Either way,
you don't get a ticket for going 93 on the Southern Tier Expressway.
No, that's right.
I mean, maybe you do. Again, I know nothing.
Again,
about
this was not.
This was
not like radar. This was just speed cameras. Is what there was no incident. I wasn't pulled over. There was nothing. It was just.
It's a space ref.
Yeah, space ref.
Do they actually have police?
Or
is it just space police?
There are police. We saw policia. I'll go with that.
They actually have that?
Yeah.
Because if you have cameras busting people it's just in more ways than one perhaps, it's just a trap.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's never been more evident.
Here come the foreigners.
Yep.
And if it's 81 in an 80, we're going to get them, and we're going to wear them down with our notices.
Well, they did. But I did the crime. I mean, I don't whatever.
Ref.
I'm not. I don't. You can judge me and be disappointed all you want. I don't feel bad. I did the thing.
I'm less disappointed that you didn't know where Belgium was.
And I needed to pay the fine. That's it. I did the crime.
You got it off your conscience.
Yeah.
There's no more story.
That's right. And who knows? I don't know. We're going to travel. I just didn't want any trouble.
Bud Light would have sent you to the court in Spain. We could have done a show from a Spanish courtroom and given away keychains and koozies. I think it would have been a hit. I would have gone. I mean, I'll go for that.
Yeah. Oh, I would love to go do shows. I mean,
and then I just go 92 everywhere and see what happens. I go 81 everywhere, see what happens. Oh, it's over. Just like that. All we did was talk about where Belgium is, and now we got the resolution to the ticket story.
Yeah. I almost started talking about this yesterday, but it was trade deadline day, and I thought, I should just cool it.
Think of what we would have missed.
I don't need to hurry into the story about how I paid the Spanish speeding ticket finally.
Oh, well.
After all this time.
All right, well.
So that's over.
So is the trade deadline. And, I mean, you had a drink, you took a shower. How do you feel? Did the Bills miss out? I listened to a couple podcasts. One was very serious about how big a mistake it was to not get a deal done. I heard Brandon Beane just there with the 2 to tango business. I mean, that's as old as time itself. Somebody else has to say, yes, he's not wrong.
Yeah. Did that... I mean, they missed out not making a trade. There's no arguing that. It's a fact. They didn't make a trade. I don't know how hard to be on them because, we don't get to know how close they were, what kind of poker game was going on. Did they, were they close to something and thought they could do better? And so sort of, held out and were expecting a call back and then didn't get, I don't know. But I believe that they earnestly were looking at making moves. I know that is something the team probably wants you to know because they think it makes them look good. But I don't know. I'm not so sure it makes you look good if you tried to do something for your team and didn't pull it off.
We're into Sabres territory now.
Yeah. So I'm disappointed. I mean, I think the significant injuries that they incurred the last 2 weeks on their defense, I thought they'd at least address that in some way. If even if they didn't grant our wish of a big-time wide receiver or even just a role-playing wide receiver. So, I don't know if they were of the mind. We kept hearing. I don't know. I should say we. I heard as the afternoon unfolded a lot about Olave and Brian Thomas Jr. That they were in on that. They were interested in that. And if that was their mindset, if they were thinking that big, maybe that's why you don't give up a 4 and a 6 for Shaheed like Seattle did, or even Jacoby Myers, right? These are guys that they were rumored to be interested in. Again, I don't know what's exactly right and wrong in that rumor mill, but it would make sense to me if they thought they were going to pull a bona fide number 1 receiver into the boat that they would not have made a move on Shaheed or Jacoby Myers. But I don't know that that's exactly the case. So I don't know how hard to be on them, but I think an opportunity went by for them to help their team, and they failed to do that.
Well, what would your mom say? Don't wait to the last minute.
Okay, sure.
I don't think Brandon Beane is cheap. I don't think he's cheap. I think he's already demonstrated through the years that he will take a swing. He'll do things like starting with Diggs, if that's the first move like this. I mean, Tavon Miller, even the moves, this Bosa, they're not all the same. But I don't think he's afraid of anything. I do think that yesterday this came out, we go really far as outsiders with how easy it should be to throw draft picks away for players. And it's just way too easy to say that. Veterans get hurt. They don't fit. Amari Cooper, just 1 year ago, he tried this, and it busted. Cooper, for whatever, you could blame him, you could blame Cooper, you could blame the wind, but it busted. So it's too easy to say it, but, it's a puzzle. And these other teams, they played on Sunday. Jacksonville and the Raiders played each other on Sunday. Where did the Myers idea come from? Was it already on the table, or was it something about this game? Was it Travis Hunter going to IR suddenly last week? Was it the Raiders losing, being willing? Like, it really does. There's so many different aspects to it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Bean thought, because he's been able to do things, like maybe he thought he could get a bigger move done. It's an interesting point, like that Shaheed, they just weren't ready to commit to that because it might have cut them off from something they liked more. I think Shaheed became, as we talked about this for weeks, he became for me the right name. Other names were too, for me, unlikely to get moved, and none of those guys did get moved. Myers said he wanted to be traded in like July.
Yeah.
So that's not shocking at all. And Brian Thomas, yesterday at this time, we were talking about it. Like, I never bought that. I never understood why Jacksonville would want to do that unless there was really a red flag about him. And, you know, I don't know if I'm right. And Olave was similar to that. I mean, you got to keep some of your guys. You're trying to build from a rookie quarterback and maybe just sort of get something, get somewhere. He's a guy you keep for this.
Mm-hmm.
But Shaheed was like a secondary piece on the worst team in the league, maybe, that, okay, well, and it's also a player who fit with what the Bills lack. But, you know, that didn't happen. Maybe you have the right point.
Yeah, and checks the return guy box, too. Like, there would be more flexibility roster-wise, and they love that, right? And I think that would have been an upgrade, even. Like, Codrington's not even getting dressed anymore for these games, and so they're just sort of getting by with Shakir returning punt. Anyway, Shaheed just fit for a lot of reasons. So I don't know that I'm right about they could have reasons that date back to his draft class. To not like, you know, something about him that it just like, no, that's not a guy we want on our team. I don't know what all goes into it, but assuming that isn't the case, my best working theory is that they thought they could go bigger game hunting, and so they didn't do like a more mid move, and that's fine as long as you pull off you get the big game that you're hunting, if indeed you are. And I don't know, my instincts are that they were, and so, you know, how many people know that, right, inside the team? Yeah, obviously the upper, you know, McDermott, some people on the coaching staff, Bean, owner, whatever, like, know what they were trying to pull off, if they were trying to pull this off. How much do players know? Like, is there disappointment? Is Josh Allen upset that they didn't trade for Brian Thomas Jr. today? You know, but of course, like, he's going to meet media and he's going to say all the things that he always says, right? But so, I don't know, and we'll never know. It's just another one of these things that comes and goes, and somebody will write a book someday and tell us all the things that were this close to happening but didn't.
I like the point about whether hypothetically Shaheed was somebody that they were just sort of saving an offer for, like just waiting to find out what was going to happen with somebody more impactful in theory, and they just sort of they ran out of time. Like,
right.
Shaheed was early in the day, and then they don't get anywhere with anybody else later. But I think he was the one player where I think it all would have been okay. What they need, I don't think Bean cuts off his nose to spite his face by making that move. It's just like, it's not a
right.
It's not any. It doesn't kill everybody eats.
That's right.
It's somebody that plays a role.
Price point is right. Contract is right. Like cost of acquisition is what I mean by price point. Like, it all really would have fit.
Mm-hmm.
So again, unless they have some internal big red flag about that player, then my guess would be they didn't do that because they were maybe trying to do something else.
Maybe.
That's if you believe that they were trying to do anything. And I do. I choose to believe that Brandon Beane would try to improve the team where it's weak. Despite how he has sounded and talked about, going all the way back to the draft and all the stuff, I just think the job is the job. And I've got a weakness in this area. We're trying to win a Super Bowl. I've got some assets that I feel comfortable parting with. Okay, let's see if we can play the feud. And what didn't match up there is, throw some darts. It's guesswork from out here. But I think it makes sense that they would have been tracking somebody and they just didn't get it across the finish line for whatever reason. Like you said already, it is notable that those two players, Olave and Thomas Jr., did not go somewhere else. Like, so if they were on the market and the Bills and 3 other teams or 6 other teams were talking to the Saints and or Jaguars about those players, nobody met the price.
It is the job, though. The job is to read that all correctly, and sometimes if they say they want a 3 and you think they won't get one, you lose.
Right.
And other times you need to say, okay, it's still a 3rd-round pick. Like, just, there's a lot we don't know, but we do know the bottom line. The team they have is the team they're going to have going all the way here,
right.
And we'll see if it works.
Yep.
We have Armando Salguero today coming up at 4, Bills and Dolphins. That's the law. That's the rule. We talk to Armando, which we love. Sal Capacio at 5, Mike Schopp and the Bulldog at 803-0550. This is WGR.
that it's easier to plug a player in and some are a little harder. Those are all part of it. Doesn't mean we wouldn't do it. We've obviously traded for receivers before. And, I've been here. This is season 9, right? We're usually very active. I'm always active. We put a lot of work in. Sometimes you look back at, when you go home last night and feel like, damn, that was a waste of time. No, it's not all. Some of these guys that we're really grinding on the last couple of weeks, some of them will be free agents. The season's in, so you kind of get a jump on how you view them and whether you have interest.
Brandon Bean today. Armando Salguero will join us. Also Sal Capacio, Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here at 803-0550. No more trade deadline talk. It's moot. It's over. Even with the knowledge that sometimes trades come in after the 4 o'clock deadline, now it's like almost 24 hours later and GMs have all been talking and Adam Schefter says it's over. That's how you really know. When Schefter says it. Book it.
Right.
Let's go to Billy here. Hi.
Hey, guys. How you doing? Kind of laughing here. I'm just, I don't know if you guys remember, but back in the day, you guys came up here. And it's funny that you just came to me. If you remember where you guys stayed in Markham at that hotel, right at well, you wouldn't know if it was on Highway 7. And I just kind of laughed as I get on with you guys. I remember you guys coming up here and doing a show. So I don't know if you guys remember that, but they've that hotel that you guys stayed at, they've really fixed that thing up. It's really, really, really nice now. So I just want to let you guys.
Nice to hear. All right.
Yeah, listen. So, guys, listen, simple as this. I seen all I had to see. I know the trade deadline, we always want to get stuff in that, but, I mean, I seen what I had to see last week against Kansas City. I mean, I thought we absolutely took them to the woodshed. I'm disappointed on one play and one play only when we were up 15 and they had it, I think it was like 4th and 18. And I know we were sending a 4-man front. And every team that's hammered Kansas City in the Super Bowl, whether it be Tampa Bay or whether it be Philly, they send a 4-man rush. And that's exactly what we did. And all you have to do is look at Mahomes' stats to see that works. I just thought that on that play where it was 4th and 18 and the game is basically over, I thought we should have sent the house. I really did, because I don't understand how that guy was that wide open, 4th and 18, and it let Kansas City back in the game. So yeah. I would have blitzed Mahomes and came after him with everything on that play and just made him Hail Mary it or whatever. But other than that, I'm not worried about this Bills team. It's Super Bowl this year. I know we haven't looked good in some games, but we got Josh, and if we've got Josh, we've got, I think this is the year for sure. I've said it every year, but this is the year, guys.
Okay, so you're going to be right this time.
So you're an authority on this.
All right, Billy, thanks.
I'm not an authority, but I just...
You've yet to be right, but otherwise, you're sure.
Right. All right. The 4th and 17. 4th and 17, that play, that's the play that Bosa he's pretty much unblocked and stops, right? Do I have the right play? There's a play in this game where Bosa has, nobody blocks him. And I think what he thinks is, this is a screen pass. I got it. They're going to throw it right to the spot I'm running away from. And so he stops and never gets close to Mahomes after that again. He had a clear path, and when he kept going, that play would have been over because it turns out it was not a screen pass. That happened. The guy got so wide open. Watch the play again from up above and try to tell me what Terrell Bernard is doing on that play, because I don't have an answer. I've watched it half a dozen times, and I don't. He's the one guy that just seems to be guarding an empty lot. It just does not see Rice coming across. He's lost on the play. So that might be an explanation. Not that he was covering Rice one-on-one, but he's in his own, and no one's really around him, and he just looks lost. To me, he's the smoking gun on that play.
I don't know what to say. I mean, is it really worth a discussion if there's one play in a game that doesn't decide the game that you think they should have done something different? I mean, of course, if it's as easy as just deciding to send 4 pass rushers, the Chiefs would never win a single game because everybody would know to do that. It's way more complicated than that. I don't know. It's halfway through the season. you said last week or 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, we're not going to make it. We're not going to hold up emotionally until January. And yesterday I thought I was hanging on by a thread because, we sounded like we're talking about a bad team, not a good one. Mm-hmm. Bet online odds to get the 1 seed. After that, all bets are off. One play. That's what happened last year. That's what happened other years against Kansas City. And that's the deal, I guess. You have to try to prepare for a situation where that one play doesn't beat you. I mean, how hard is that? But that's the job. Bet online odds to get the 1. The Bills are 6-5 to get the 1 seed in the AFC. Plus 120. They are behind New England. They are behind Indianapolis. They are behind Denver for this. The bettors don't care. They see the Bills as the best team in it. And they're close enough to the lead. So you're 9 weeks in, and you're 6-5 to get the thing that everybody agreed was by far the most important goal of the season, was to get the bye and the week off, and then home field throughout. And, I think I'd want to say that if I told you going into the opener, everything that happened through 9 weeks in the NFL will have happened, would you have turned it down? Maybe you would have. I've got I'm telling you the Chiefs are 5-4. I'm telling you the Ravens are 3-5. I'm telling you Joe Burrow is done. I'm telling you 2 of the 3 teams in your division are a joke. Who says no? And, maybe you do because it's not first place.
Yeah.
But the markets are always the guide because this is people spending their money. And they think the Bills are a clear favorite to finish as the 1. Pretty good.
Yeah, you might if you had laid out all of those different factors in August. I might assume because of them that although there's no information about what the Bills' record is, that the Bills must be in first place. They're the favorite for the 1 seed. Kansas City's doing this. Baltimore's doing this.
Good point.
2 of the 3. I'm proud. And, I'm not so far. It's not, I'm chasing, but it's not. I have the same number of losses right now, and that matters. These teams not had a bye yet. They'll get their byes, and hopefully the Bills can keep pace. Yeah, this is what, when your team is good, it's funny. Like, we spend so much time with hockey and the trade deadline. This came up yesterday, like in our lives. Like, it's a more significant day. It feels like it has been in the course of this show. 20 plus years together. The hockey trade deadline is more active. It's just a busier thing, and football is sort of caught up in the last handful of years here, where it's a more notable day on the calendar. But it's the same concept. It doesn't really work because the Sabres haven't been good in so long. But when they were, be like, give me one more thing. Give me one more thing. Give me Gary Roberts. Give me a guy that knows what it looks and smells like. And then I don't get him. I'm like, okay, I'm still pretty good though, right? Like, that's what this is. I mean, I said yesterday, I don't think like the Bills like. They're flawed in some fatal way now or something. They're still one of the best teams in the league and have as reasonable a shot as they've had any of these years to get to the Super Bowl. What you're looking for in a moment like yesterday, or in a day, it's not really a moment, but a day like yesterday is that piece that is going to get it done. Like it's Von Miller that lasts till the end of the year. That's there for you in the AFC title game. It's just one more piece so that I can maybe not allow a 4th and 17 completion in a playoff game when I really need to just shut the thing down, or one more guy that can beat the Kansas City linebackers and DBs to the edge and get a first down so I don't end up in 4th and 5 in a prayer and a crazy blitz from Spagnuolo. Like, just get me one more thing so that I've got another shot to shoot. And they didn't. And that doesn't mean that all the shots that they're going to shoot between now and the end of January are fatally flawed. The gun isn't going to work or something. But I would have liked to have one more thing. So it sort of tests you, because I know it sounds like, oh, what a disaster. They didn't make a trade for some guy we thought might be available.
I know, let's move on.
The whole thing is so flimsy to begin with. Are they good to great to begin with? Yes. Could they be better? Yes. Did they get better? No. Okay, so I'm still good to great? Like, who's better than the Bills?
Well, that's a good question. And there might be a few teams who are. Don't have, it's debatable. Indianapolis will be interesting. They make the Gardner move, power move, the only real power move in the conference, or even in the league, was this move. I mean, whatever Dallas does is always hilarious, so that's fine, but irrelevant. I mean, that's a team planting its flag. And I think we'd respect that, right? Don't we respect that? Even if it is Daniel Jones. You're in first place. Make a move. Take a shot.
Yeah.
And so they do. No one else does. And now we find out over the next several weeks whether Indianapolis, whether it was justifiable.
In the AFC, at least. The NFC, the Eagles added Jalen. The defending champs did what they always do. They did another thing. And that, I think, is a part of what makes the Bills fans as frustrated as they were yesterday and maybe still are today, is that you're looking at a team that's won the Super Bowl last year and won it even, was in it recently, and their GM has this reputation, and it's well-earned. He's always finding a way to get one more guy. Right, so they win the Super Bowl last year. They lost some guys in free agency. They didn't overreact to that in the spring or in the summer. They said, okay, and now, okay, I need another guy. I go get another guy, and that's just seems like how they do it every year. They seem to manage to find another way to get another guy.
Armando Salguero coming up in 20 minutes. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, WGR. This is not going to be Story of My Life, but it sounds like it's the same chords. Is that Social Distortion? Is that one of your bands?
Yep. Story of My Life. GCD.
Easy Game.
Yep.
Some other song, though. It's Story of My Life, too.
It could be. I would need to hear it back again to see. I'm not that great at identifying what the chords are if I don't know the song. But I happen to play that song, so I know that it's
Really?
GCD. Yeah.
Nice.
It's super easy.
What's the latest on AJ Epinesa, you're asking?
Well, he is a DNP today with a concussion. I don't know if McDermott mentioned him earlier today or mentioned the injury by name, but that struck me. I didn't know what he was sidelined with. If I knew he was sidelined, I think I did. But concussion is what. It's a long list of guys. It's a big injury report. Joey Bosa is a DNP with a wrist. James Cook with an ankle. Epinesa with the concussion. Taron Johnson groin. Daquan Jones still. Shaq Thompson still hamstring. Benford limited. Bernard limited. Groin, ankle, respectively. Palmer back limited. I guess that's good news.
Maybe simply trade for some healthy players. Wait, it's too late.
Yeah.
That's a tough one there. We'll talk to Sal later about some of these.
Looked like Cook got hurt very early in the game. I don't know if you remember or noticed, like maybe the first series even, there was a play where he just looked a little gingerly, looked to be moving gingerly coming off the field. He obviously played all three, played 70% of the snaps in this game, but has an ankle injury that cost him practice. So I guess we'll monitor that as the week goes on.
I suppose we will.
I feel very far away from just put another guy in there. It'll be fine. Because the other guys have not really done anything. It was easier to say that in the summer when Davis looked promising last season and Ty Johnson, the quote-unquote best third down back in the league, but really they have not done very much.
That's interesting to think about because I'm not sure I could tell you when the last time I felt this much that way was. It wasn't LaShawn McCoy.
Mm-hmm.
I never cared. Oh, Marcus Murphy is just as good. Wow. Carlos Williams. Wow, we had to have him.
Mike Gillislee.
Gillislee. Like, when did McCoy ever get subbed out for somebody who wasn't just as productive? Oh, I hated that all so much. But, like, maybe in the 90s, if Thurman missed a game, I'm sure I was nervous. Although Kenneth Davis would go in and do great,
really,
and it was still the same, I think, the same principle. We just didn't know there was this principle at the time.
Right.
Not to take away from Thurman, but Davis did a great job in his stead many times. I don't know if I don't know what the deal with Davis is. Where did Ray Davis go?
I don't know.
Now he's not even getting a touch.
But it feels weird to be worried about the presence of the starting running back on the injury report.
It does, and I'm sure
it's a foreign concept.
And I'm sure if I held to my truths and said, don't worry about it, I mean, let the heavens fall. I mean, just how can you say that at this point? No one else is doing anything. Cook's usage has gone up. He's still going over 100 or scoring in every game or both.
And their run game is what makes their offense go. Right. So that you add all those factors up, and it's like, ooh, I sure hope he's okay. That's where I end up. Even for the Miami game, I end up at I sure hope he's okay.
Didn't the Bills put McCoy off an injury into that playoff game in Jacksonville? Like he was back.
He played. Yeah, he played on a bum wheel. But it might have been an ankle.
Great, 10-3.
Yeah,
great idea. Worked. Oh, I just can't let go of some stuff. I don't know. It's not going to help me live longer. Armando Salguero after the update on WGR.
Work today as they get ready to head down to South Florida to take on the Miami Dolphins. It, though, is a lengthy injury report to begin the week. 6 players not practicing: Joey Bosa, James Cook, AJ Epinesa, Taron Johnson, Daquan Jones, and Shaq Thompson, while Josh Palmer, Terrell Bernard, and Christian Benford were all limited. Benford, though, is the only new name from what we heard from McDermott earlier this morning. He is dealing with a groin injury. And the Barnes Firm Injury Report, it is brought to you by the Barnes Firm. For help, call 1-800-8-MILLION. We also did hear from General Manager Brandon Beane today following the trade deadline yesterday. Beane was candid on the issues the Bills ran into, especially with teams in the division being the ones offloading talent.
It takes 2 to tango, and we tried on quite a few, and a lot was just, we're not moving them, and some was we ran into a couple teams in our division we're trading and couldn't get a lot of interest there.
You can listen back to both the GM and coach up at our website, WGR550.com, or on the Odyssey app. And we'll get more on the Bills from today. Sal Capacio will join the show in about an hour at 5 p.m. Bills' opponent this week, again, is the Dolphins, though one big injury to keep an eye on for them. Linebacker Chop Robinson, not at practice today. He continues to be in concussion protocol. And speaking of that, Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud is going to miss this week as he is dealing with concussion. Houston plays Jacksonville, and Arizona, they're placing quarterback Kyler Murray on IR as he heals from his foot injury. And then no game tonight for the Sabres. They're back in action tomorrow at home against St. Louis. Head coach Lindy Ruff, though, said with the media that Tyson Kozak does have a chance to play tomorrow, as does Matthias Samuelsson, as Samuelsson did just have a day off today. And then potentially a positive update for Josh Norris. He was back to skating today, though no timetable on when he will return. Sports Talk on WGR is presented by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch local NFL games live every Sunday all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
It's Mike Schopp.
It's nothing you did.
It's not you, it's me.
It's not you. It's you, but you didn't cross me.
And the Bulldog.
Why did I choose? Why did I just stay in school?
On WGR Sports Radio 550.
With us now on the Western Hotline is Armando Salguero, who we never miss an opportunity to call. Yes, it's the Dolphins, and like we talked about last time Armando was on before week 3, I guess, that we know he covers the whole league. But Armando, have I ever told you, and I hope this is okay to bring up on the air, that I am of Cuban heritage? Not.
You've never shared that information with me, oddly enough.
It's scant. It's a long time ago, and I'm not comparing myself to you in this department. But my great-grandfather was born in Havana. And his daughter, my great-grandmother, is who taught me to read. She was still alive when I was a young one, and she taught me to read. So I learned to read from a woman whose father was Cuban. How's that?
That's impressive. And still, I'm more Cuban than you.
Yes, there's no doubt about it. We will compare our Cubanness at some point. We just did.
I have nothing to offer here at all.
Yeah. Arturo Smith, he moved to Buffalo as a grown man and was involved in trying to raise money and medical supplies for the revolution. So turn of the century. And I have letters that were written to him from the then president. It wasn't a country yet, the plenipotentiary, I think it was called. It was a United States. Do you know, Armando? We didn't prep you. I don't know. I'm sorry for all of this, but yeah, like it's really cool. It's really cool that we have like stuff from those years.
I'm imagining Armando right now, like sort of taking the phone away from his face and like looking at it
every
and just
time.
Like, is this? Who called me again? Was it Zach? Like always, what's going on?
Tomas Estrada Palma, first president of Cuba, and every time, at least there's one moment with Armando where one of us feels like he's just going to hang up.
No, I really appreciate that you defined which revolution
Yes,
that was involving, because there was one that, got the country free from Spain, which was the Spanish-American War.
That was the one.
And then there was the one that sunk the country into communism and utter poverty, and the reason that I'm here.
Yes, that was not the one.
Right,
The first one.
He was the good one.
The first one is the one I was thinking of there. Okay.
Well, Armando, how are things in South Florida? Are you surprised Miami did not trade away more guys in advance of yesterday's, or really do more than just fire GM Chris Greer? What's the landscape in Miami right now?
Yeah, there's a definite, I would say, disappointment that it was sold as things are going to happen, and then only one thing happened. They traded Jalen Phillips to the Philadelphia Eagles, and it wasn't, blockbuster-ish. There was no first-round pick involved. There was no second-round pick involved. So there was that. Jalen Phillips is a good player. But, obviously he is on an expiring contract. The issue down here is that Bradley Chubb is still on the team, and he is a very expensive, older player than what Jalen Phillips was, and equally not durable. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by not durable is, he's got an injury history that's as long as my arm. And good player, wonderful player, but often not a player on the field. This year he's played all the games, so that's fine. But when you've got a big contract for a 29-year-old, soon-to-be 30-year-old, player that obviously is making a lot of money, there's not a ton of teams that want to pay a high value for it, so the Dolphins just decided to keep him. The other guy was Jalen Waddle. There was a lot of action on him and a lot of interest on him, but nobody wanted to give up a first-round pick, and the Dolphins weren't interested in selling. For
right, anything but that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they weren't also interested in selling inside the division.
Yeah, right. We just as we were introducing you, we had a clip that played. Maybe it was last segment before the top of the hour break here, Armando. We had a clip from Brandon Beane that referenced that, like the teams inside the division set the prices so high, and he seemed frustrated by that. I wonder if the Bills were a team that called Miami about Waddle. We've heard them attached to high end of the market receivers and even like more mid-tier guys like Jacoby Myers or Rashid Shaheed. But I wonder if Waddle, would have been of interest to the Bills. He would have been of interest to me, that's for sure.
Or Phillips, by the way. The Patriots reportedly were also in on him. Maybe that was a division thing.
Look, the trading inside the division is like a stick of dynamite. and Dolphins ownership has had, it's like a cartoon, and they've had sticks of dynamite blow up in their face a lot. And so I think that they weren't all that enthused about, improving a team that they're trying to beat and failing at miserably already.
So was there my guess from the outside here, Armando, was when they fired Chris Greer, it was, we want someone objective to just sell off these parts, not someone who signed any of these guys to the contracts or drafted them or has emotional ties, any kind of relationship at all. Just sell things, stockpile assets, and let's go. And that one of two things happened. That was a terrible read of the situation from afar, or they just could not get the prices that they wanted. Which of those do you think is more likely?
So two things. Number one, they were conducting a yard sale, not a fire sale. And the difference is, they wanted good value in return for their guys. instead of we'll sell you on pennies on the dollar.
Right.
Or minor draft picks on the talent, so to speak. That's number one. Number two, the Dolphins have for a long time been, I don't want to say victims because they created their own situation by hiring the people that they hired. Look, there are ways to conduct business in the NFL, and the typical way is that people conduct business and leaders conduct business is by doing what they believe to be in the best interest of the football team. But there comes a time when some folks want to do what's in the best interest of them, themselves, and the agenda becomes, I don't want to get fired. And in the case of Chris Greer, for example, you had a general manager who needed to win, knew that he needed to win, and so therefore wasn't anxious to lose talent that would, help him to win. Hasn't helped him so far, but there's always tomorrow, right? And always the next game. So obviously he was asked for a plan to conducting a yard sale, and that wasn't a very good plan.
Right.
His plan was, I don't really want to get rid of a lot of guys. And so they brought in the interim, Champ Kelly, and it turns out that he only got rid of one guy. So even the firing kind of backfired. And the amazing thing is they were trying to get rid of talent at the same time that they were telling Coach Mike McDaniel, you're staying and we need you to win so that you can stay longer. So win with less, although you haven't won with more previously. It's a back-assward kind of situation in Miami, and so now you understand why the Dolphins are going to be drafting very high next offseason when April rolls around.
I do want to at least acknowledge that there is a game Sunday here between the Bills and Dolphins, and it's not like an absolute guarantee that the Bills will win this game. We're not after the season here, but it's such a fascinating topic, all of this. Here you have the Jets, who maybe made some concession to their situation that the Dolphins didn't. Maybe that's just too easy to say. You mentioned Bradley Chubb earlier. I apologize for not remembering how you felt when they made that move. I mean, the Dolphins were pretty good there for a couple of years in the playoffs, and that was, maybe a kind of a classic, we'll worry about the future later. Here's a guy who can make an impact. I just remember most people thinking it was a crazy idea for what they paid for him, and now maybe they wanted to move him, but nobody wanted him, like you said, for the money, and they maybe stopped a little bit short in terms of like what they were willing to do. Do you have a thought on that?
Here's my thought. So the Dolphins gave up a first-round pick for Bradley Chubb, right? Plus like a fourth-round pick plus a player, Chase Edmonds, which, is out of the league now.
Yep.
So at the time, Dolphin fans were thinking, oh, my God, this is great. This is awesome. Except that this is what happened as a result. Bradley Chubb had a couple of years in which he was injured. And it didn't pan out the way that they thought it would pan out. The first-round pick that the Dolphins gave the Denver Broncos, they used to trade to the New Orleans Saints so that they could hire Sean Payton.
Right.
In that same draft, the Dolphins forfeited their first-round pick. They would have had two, by the way, in that draft. They forfeited their other first-round pick, not for Bradley Chubb, because owner Stephen Ross was caught tampering, trying to, convince Tom Brady to come to the Dolphins, trying to convince who to coach them? Sean Payton.
Yeah.
So basically, the Dolphins in 2023 sat on their hands in the first round because the front office allowed a first-round pick to go out the door that the Broncos used to hire a future Hall of Fame coach, and the other first-round pick was forfeited because ownership tried to misuse the rules of the game to tamper with a future Hall of Fame coach.
That's sordid and messy are words.
Sordid is a good word.
Armando, what of Mike McDaniel now? I mean, when we talked before the Thursday night game in Week 3, it felt like the Dolphins were already at a breaking point. They showed up and played a very, in my eyes, respectable game in that game. And, we know, the record and, they've had the odd moment here, but mostly it's been bad. Yet McDaniel is still there standing. Is there anyone that that's around this team or around the league that doesn't think he's getting fired at the end of the year?
Well, around the team, yeah, there's people that think he's got a shot. Around the league, nobody. It's like, but you see, here's the problem, and one of the problems with the Miami Dolphins. Around the league, people think logically. Around the team, is a different matter altogether. Look, last year, they went to New York with a chance to make the playoffs if they won and like 3 other things happened. And one of those 3 other things didn't happen. And so they played the Jets, who were terrible, if you remember, and they got beat by the Jets. And in the fourth quarter of that game, Tyreek Hill quit.
Oh, right.
He just decided, I'm done. And after the game, he talked about needing to do what was best for Tyreek. Again, the Dolphins' culture of doing what's best for you, not the team.
Yeah.
And he's talking about, if that involves being traded, then whatever, man, as he walks off. The point being this. After that game in which the team gave up one of its highest priced players quit, they lost. They didn't make the playoffs for the second year in a row, and it was an utter disappointment. Like 4 hours later, the owner says, "We're running it back. We're on the right course." Released that in a statement when most people around the league were expecting changes. The firing of Chris Greer comes 10 seasons after he was hired. They never won a playoff game under Chris Greer's general managership. And Chris Greer is a nice guy and all that, but they never won a playoff game. He was the general manager from 2016 to 2025, and they never won a playoff game with him as the general manager. Oh, by the way, they also fired a couple of coaches in that time,
right?
One of which he hired, and this one's on the chopping block, and yet, he stuck around. So that is a narrative of how the Dolphins. The New England Patriots, they dominated the AFC East for a bunch of years, 17, 18 years that they won it in a row or whatever. During that time, they had a lot of help. During that time, the Buffalo Bills were bad. During that time, the Miami Dolphins were, not as bad, but bad. And the New York Jets were a joke. Right now, what we've had until this year has been the New York Jets remain really bad. The Dolphins their theme song is You know, that's their team fight song.
Thank you for that.
Yes, and the Patriots went into the Bill Belichick went suddenly senile phase, and then Tom Brady left, and Belichick couldn't win a game to save his life. Now they've recovered, but the point being, you need help to be dominant, at least in the AFC East, when you're going to run 5, 6, 7 years winning the division in a row. The Bills have had that help. The help may be over because Mike Vrabel knows what he's doing. But definitely they continue to get that help from the Dolphins and so far from the Jets.
Armando, before you go, just a zooming out look at the AFC. The many times we've talked, mostly, at least for the last few years, the song has remained the same at the top of the conference, like the top tier. Now you've got Indianapolis, New England, Denver. I mean, are you sooner expecting Buffalo or Kansas City to make it through the AFC or someone else?
Well, so can we agree there are no super teams this year, right? If the New England Patriots and the Indianapolis Colts have the best record with the Denver Broncos in the conference, raise your hand if you knew that was happening 9 games in, because I certainly did not. You know, the Indianapolis Colts with Daniel Jones? Really? And God bless him. He's playing well, not this last Sunday, but he's playing well. Good for him. You know, they are now committed basically to going for it because they just gave up 2 first-round picks for a cornerback. That means they're not going to be drafting a quarterback. So he's their guy.
Right.
That's the power. That's the epicenter of power. Drake May, suddenly really good, and he's going to be good, by the way. But suddenly, like, all of a sudden really good, and they're still going to be adding. And Bo Nix and the Broncos, they have a great defense. Who haven't I mentioned? I haven't mentioned the Kansas City Chiefs. The Bills are in – this is going to freak people out. They're in the second tier of that conversation right now. They might not be by the end of the year, but right now, and it looked really bad, you know, just at the bye. Because when you're so-called starting over, or you know, and you've lost 2 in a row, that didn't look so great. But it's weird, and I have no clue who's going to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. And if you told me any of 5 teams to do it, I would say, okay, I could see that.
All right, Armando. Well, it's always a pleasure. Any questions for us? We don't want to seem rude, not letting you ask us anything.
Well, so who was the 3rd president of Cuba?
Oh,
no, never mind.
I can't even tell you the second.
You're breaking up.
Yeah.
Here I thought I was doing well with Tomas Estrada Palma, but guess what? I set myself up.
That was amazing. That was like, that was stunning.
We have written letters by him in our house. I won't tell you where, but somewhere in our house.
That's amazing. God bless.
Thank you, Armando. Always a pleasure. Anytime we get to talk.
All right, guys. Be well.
Bye-bye. Armando Salguero on the West Her hotline. Legendary NFL scribe. Bulldog, I know you like that word. You sort of raised the bar with sordid.
Sure.
And I wanted to get scribe in.
Man, I love when we've got the time and he's got the time to, like, spin a tale like he did about the Bradley Chubb and the draft picks and all the ramifications of the meeting on the boat with Brady, and they wanted Peyton and all. Just what a mess that organization is right now. What a mess.
Not an accident sometimes.
No,
team
right.
Stinks always. 803-0550, the trade deadline has passed. Did Brandon Beane imply, or just flat out say that he was hoping to make a trade in the division? We got into that with Armando a little bit, too, and have been running one of the clips from Bean today. Sal Capacio at 5. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. Lines are open. This is WGR.
It is a lengthy injury report for the Bills as they get back to work today, getting ready to take on the Miami Dolphins down in South Florida on Sunday. 6 players did not practice: Joey Bosa, James Cook, A.J. Epinesa, Taron Johnson, Daquan Jones, and Shaq Thompson, while Josh Palmer, Terrell Bernard, and Christian Benford were all limited. Benford, though, is the only new name from what we heard from McDermott as he spoke with the media this morning. Benford dealing with a groin injury. And the Barnes Firm Injury Report, it is brought to you by the Barnes Firm. For help, call 1-800-8-MILLION. We also heard from General Manager Brandon Beane following the trade deadline yesterday. And if you want to listen back to him or the head coach, you can do so on our website, WGR550.com, or on the Odyssey app. And we'll get more on what we heard from today. Sal Capacio will join the show in about a half hour at 5 p.m. Some other notes around the league. Bills, of course, taking on the Dolphins. Linebacker Chop Robinson not practicing today. He's continuing to be in concussion protocol. Staying with concussions, Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud is going to miss this week. He stays in concussion protocol as the Texans will take on Jacksonville, and Arizona are placing Kyler Murray on IR as he heals from a foot injury. And then just 5 games tonight in the NHL. The Sabres will play tomorrow. 5 games tonight, though. Utah at Toronto at 7. Washington hosts the Blues at 7:30. At 9:30, Calgary has the Blue Jackets in town. And then 2 games at 10 to wrap up your evening. Vancouver hosting Chicago and the Kraken hosting San Jose. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
The trade deadline's hard because you're trying to be, what is the fit? What is their mental capacity? You know, you see talented players that have been in systems for years and it took them a little time to get going, but now they're rolling. But that doesn't mean you can drop them right in your system and they pick up right kind of where they left off.
Well, it wouldn't have to. Bills GM Brandon Beane there. Fans still, not all of them, would be reeling from yesterday's
really
lack of movement, but we certainly are hearing from a lot of people who are frustrated. 803-0550 is the number. I was very frustrated by the Blue Jays loss. One thing, getting into them, going to Game 2, watching almost every pitch of the World Series, really feeling it, meant was that I can't wear my full wardrobe because I'm not like such a diehard Blue Jays fan. Like this Astros shirt, I would never have worn during the playoffs.
Right, you had to shelve that for a while. Yeah,
but today I decided it was back. It was time.
You did, and the chat on the YouTube and the Twitch.
Yes,
they noticed that when you wore you did a laundry, because I noticed off the air. I brought it up, but somebody in the chat said, this is like 2 days out of 3 of the Blue Jay shirt. I think you got a new Blue Jay shirt. And you
Last
wore
week?
It, yeah.
That's right.
You wore it like on a Monday and then a Wednesday right away.
That's right. And I thought about that before when I put it on after the laundry run. I thought, is this too soon? I mean, sometimes you wear clothes. This has been my experience in life. You wear clothes, then you wash them. Usually my laundry time like today is in the morning when my kids are out of the house. And then, I'd like to wear this. It's clean,
right?
But I wore it yesterday, so I can't.
I've always been very conscientious about that, even predating the Twitch and the YouTube. But now I definitely think about it. Because, like you, I got like a pile of shirts that I'll do a load of wash. And then the next day, like, all right, time to go. And like, oh, wait, too recent. You have enough other garments that you can find something else to put on. You don't look like somebody who wears the same clothes all the time.
Well, I wear.
Although I
probably do.
I am pretty repetitive. I can tell you that.
I wear the Astro shirt with the orange shorts. So today,
still the shorts.
Still the shorts. I think I'm going to ride it out, like forever. Funerals. Certain outings, maybe not like Friday night, maybe pants.
Yeah, we have a.
I know what I'll do. I'll wash the shirt again and then wear the orange pants with the Astro shirt on Friday night. No, I mean, I'm enjoying shorts life. It's really no sandals today because it's wet.
Yeah,
and that gets annoying. So I'm wearing sneakers that give me a blister.
I shouldn't talk. I've like segued into just like whatever the joggers. I guess these are glorified sweatpants they've got there's 3 holes in the thigh from last winter. I was snowblowing and I got I brushed up against the muffler and burned a hole in these pants. And I'm still wearing them to work, which is pretty
embarrassing.
Lazy, embarrassing. I definitely could do better, but I'm not.
Whatever. Even with the cameras, even with the advent of streaming video, we're still just like the same.
I think I'm going to stop short of standing
casual.
up and showing everyone where the holes in the thigh of these pants are. I don't think I need to do that.
That's a decision only you can make.
Yeah.
Here is Ken with us. Hello.
Yeah, hey guys. I'll give you a little bit of a break on the trade deadline talk here, and I point out, check my work here, but I believe if the Bills win this weekend, they will have evened the all-time series with the Dolphins. And I find that remarkable because they were underwater, and wanted to just share some reflections on that from my youth. I seem to recall that it was like 34-7-1 at one point, like kind of coming out of 83. And I was just emerging into my sports awareness at that point. And what happened? Our quarterback left town. He came back, obviously. We all love him. But what were we left with in Buffalo? 2-14 teams, and the Bills blacked out. So I saw more Dolphins games in those years than Bills. And so I'm ashamed to admit it, but I was a Dolphins fan. I've since turned it around, guys. I'm a Bills fan now.
Okay.
But what that meant was, in my family, my grandparents had 4 season tickets, and they would take us with my cousins or my aunt, my dad, my uncle. And so I got the Dolphins game, and I have this vivid memory. My dad would always buy me the program, and I would go to the series. And I was at the point where, okay, what does this 34-7-1 mean? And what's the one? And, he'd be like, well, that's a tie. And, okay, what's a tie, Dad? That type of thing. And then the question to my dad was, wow, that's really bad. And then he had to explain the whole for the 70s. And this was after tailgating with my uncle, who was lamenting that Don Shula was on the competition committee. So just a few of my reactions to memories from my youth, and how it's remarkable that we have the potential to even the series. And I think the all-time Bills record is approaching 500, which, there's two there's the Levy era, there's the McDermott era that is largely responsible for that. So kind of neat that we're going to even the series if we get a win.
Yes, it's true if you include the playoffs. In the regular season, a win here would not tie it. But if you include the playoffs, it would. The Bills have won 14 of the last 15 against Miami. It was a 7-game winning streak, the loss on the surface of the sun, and then 7 more, also including playoffs, the 2, I think 2 playoff games. One playoff game, Skylar Thompson.
Right.
So 14-1 in the last 15. The Bills not only went, I'm just looking this up while you were talking, 0-20 in the 70s, but from 1980 through 86, that's 14 meetings. They went 3-11 in those games. So it's 3-31 in those 31 games.
Right.
In those 34 games, rather. And the Bills won the first 3 ever meetings with the Dolphins all easily. The Dolphins were an expansion team, and they were easy to beat. So, yeah, interesting series, I guess, that's almost tied. If you include playoffs. I don't think you should for this, but you can. It's not that serious a matter.
Yeah.
New England, I don't know the all-time series. We're probably down in that to New England. But maybe in 20 years we'll be caught up.
Yeah, or they might have had a healthy lead going into the 2000s.
I'll get it for you. The Bills are 50-79-1. In the regular season, 1-1 in the playoffs. Against 1-1? Oh, the AFL. 63.
Okay.
So 51-80 all time against the Patriots. That's not close to turning.
Yeah, so I was wrong on that maybe they had a lead going into the 2000s. That's tough. Wow.
We had a call a couple of days ago from a longtime listener of ours, someone we're both fans of, Ange Coniglio. And I just sort of butted in the conversation, like I'll do, to mention the patch the Chiefs wear on their jerseys, the AFL commemorative patch that they've always worn. And Ange was behind that, if you don't know. I didn't properly identify him because we're talking to him like, you're supposed to know who Ange is. But, he's been a caller of ours for many years. We've both gotten to know him. And if you watch the, what's the name of the series? It's a 5-part series about the history of the AFL. You can watch it on YouTube now.
Full color football?
Full color football. Ange is in that. Like, he's interviewed about AFL history and the patch, the story is shown, and he describes how it came to be. And always wanted more for the AFC teams, the AFL teams, than what they got out of the settlement. And we talked on Monday, I guess, after the Chief game, and I mentioned, it'd be nice if the Bills, I mentioned the Chief patch, and it came up like the idea of the Bills wearing one in the new stadium, like the Chiefs one. Only the Chiefs one has the initials LH for Lamar Hunt. And I got an email Monday night from Ange, basically a CC to a letter he wrote, or an email he wrote Mary Wilson Monday after talking to us.
Okay.
Proposing the Bills with a picture of it, like a design.
The patch. Yeah.
Of the patch. And I just love the way Ange did it, because he wasn't trying to, he went to Mrs. Wilson first. Right? That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Because if you're a guy like this, you'd want her approval, her consent.
Right.
So I love that. And I said, if you need anything from me, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I think it would be a great thing for the Bills to have that. Although some are going to say it's like copying the Chiefs.
Yeah.
But I would love to see it.
Yeah. Yeah, we go way, way, way back. He used to call my old nighttime show, Ange did, when I worked at WBEN. And when my wife and I got married in the summer of '99, and we held the reception in Ridgeway, Ontario, which is very near Crystal Beach. And by that point, I had known, like, Ange used to call the show, and in the winter, like during football season, it would be Ange and Amherst. And then in the summertime, spring and summertime, it was Ange and Crystal Beach. And I remember telling him this, maybe even years later with you in the room. I don't remember if this will ring a bell to you, but I know I told him on the air eventually that, like, the wedding was approaching, and I didn't know how to get in touch with him. We didn't know each other well. He called my radio show. So I didn't know how to reach out to him. But I had the thought, like, at some point leading up to the actual wedding reception, that, man, I would love to invite Ange to this. Like, I wish I had a way, because at the time, not knowing it was going to be a Sabres game and that lots of the people in the media who I were hoping to have attend my wedding were not going to be there because they're going to be working. I thought, like, he'd get a kick out of, like, Larry Felser and Vic Carrillo, like, these people that I worked with at the time that were invited and were going to come to the wedding, and then they ended up not coming because of the hockey game. Like, even all the football guys worked. The Sabres were in the Stanley Cup Finals. It was like all hands on deck at the paper then, at really every media outlet. So, but I remember thinking, man, he's right here. Like, he'd love this. Like, to just come and have a drink with these guys. Mm-hmm. But we never got it together, obviously. But anyway, so I've known him that long, like since whatever, 95. It's a long time. Yeah,
pretty good. We'll talk to Sal at 5. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, WGR. Welcome back, Sal Capacio, in less than 15 minutes. Sabres next in action tomorrow night, home to St. Louis. Overtime loss last night. What a string of overtime games suddenly.
5 in a row. They've only won one of them.
I guess it's done being time to talk about how if they could just get more games to overtime.
Right.
Like the last 2 years have been like that.
That does not seem like it'll be a thing this year. Maybe like here's your glass way half full scenario is, we get to February. It's like, well, good thing they banked all those loser points back in October and November. That was good.
I would take every one of their remaining games going to overtime. Or even all but 10. I would take it. Right now, where do I sign? Chris is next. Hello, Chris.
Hello, guys. How are we doing tonight?
Great, thank you.
Good to hear. That trade deadline, there was one player I thought what a fix, or not a fix, but an addition he'd be to the Bills, and that was that Rashid
Shaheed, yes. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He is a proven commodity in the NFL. Also a kick returner, can save you a position there. And I just thought if that was affordable, that was something we could have really bid on. Being a receiver, a lot easier to plug in than somebody maybe in the secondary or linebacking with defense. And I don't know what the cost was involved, but I thought that was a guy we should have went after.
Well, he went to Seattle early in the day for a 4 and a 6. And I all I can have is a working theory, just like anyone that's on the outside can have at this point. But as the afternoon went on, I was hearing that they were chasing bigger receivers. And if that was the mindset that they were after, say, Olave or Thomas Jr., or who knows, maybe even Jalen Waddle, the way the GM sounds about talking to some of the teams in the division, I assume the Jets and the Dolphins, so I doubt you'd bother calling the Patriots, hey, you want to help me out with a trade? A team that you're chasing in the division is probably not likely to answer that call. Then I think they might have passed on the Shaheed idea, if they liked him as an idea at all, which, again, I don't know, but affordability should not have been in the way. So my guess would be they might have thought they were going to get someone on a higher tier and didn't want to give up assets and be repetitive, adding more than one thing. And then the other thing ended up not coming through, and they ended up with nothing.
I'm not sure proven commodity is how I would describe Shaheed, in a sense that everybody isn't a proven commodity. I mean, he's not a rookie, but it's like Palmer, right? I mean, just a guy who's had one okay year and the rest are really just there. That's what the Bills got in Palmer, and that's what I think Shaheed is. He's a certain type, just like Palmer was. He's a certain type that I think would have been a good fit for them. So I like the idea too, but he's not any of the other guys we've talked about at that position. Even Myers. Myers is more someone you could call a proven commodity. He's been in the league longer. He's been more productive than Shaheed. Shaheed would have been somebody that you could, go deep with. Not very often, but you'd have a dimension there that maybe they lack, especially when Palmer is out. I think it's great for Seattle. Seattle is winning, and they've got Smith and Jigba, who is just dominating the league, and that's kind of it at receiver. Kupp isn't doing anything. He's hurt again. Torrey Horton had a good game Sunday night, but is young. They have running backs. They have tight ends. I think it's a very exciting move for the Seahawks. I would have liked it too. And maybe your theory is right, that they just weren't ready to outbid Seattle for him. But he's not like somebody that you just know. Even Cooper was a proven commodity.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I agree with all of that. I still like the idea. I think it would have filled the need, but it was a tier below what maybe they were shooting for. A significant tier, I would say, below.
Yep. Sal next. We'll talk about it with him and more after the break. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR.
to head down to South Florida to take on the Miami Dolphins. However, a very lengthy injury report to begin the week. 6 players not practicing: Joey Bosa, James Cook, A.J. Epinesa, Taron Johnson, Daquan Jones, and Shaq Thompson, while Josh Palmer, Terrell Bernard, and Christian Benford were all limited. Benford is the only new name going from what we heard from McDermott before practice today. Benford is dealing with a groin injury. And the Barnes Firm Injury Report, it is brought to you by the Barnes Firm. For help, call 1-800-8-MILLION. We also heard from Bills general manager Brandon Beane following the trade deadline yesterday, and Beane was quite candid in issues the Bills ran into yesterday with teams in the division being the ones offloading talent.
It takes 2 to tango, and we tried on quite a few, and a lot was just, we're not moving them, and some was we ran into a couple teams in our division we're trading and couldn't get a lot of interest there.
You can listen back to both the general manager and the coach up at our website, WGR550.com, or on the Odyssey app. And we'll also get more on what the Bills had to do today, as Sal Capacio will join the show next. The Bills' opponent is the Dolphins this weekend. One player they may not have, linebacker Chop Robinson, not at practice today, and he continues to be in concussion protocol, as does Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud. He is going to miss this week against Jacksonville and Arizona. They are placing quarterback Kyler Murray on IR due to a foot injury. For the Sabres, just practiced today. They're going to be in game action tomorrow, hosting St. Louis. Head coach Lindy Ruff said with the media that Tyson Kozak does have a chance to play tomorrow. And while Matthias Samuelsson did miss practice today, it was a day off, and he should be good to go for tomorrow as well. And then a bit of an update on forward Josh Norris. He is back to skating, but no timetable on when he will return. And Sports Talk on WGR is presented by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL games live every Sunday all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
Well, it's right in the thick of it in the AFC. Another game Sunday, Bills and Dolphins. Injury news, so much to talk about. Sal Capacio with us on the Wester Hotline. First thing, Sal, can you believe Bulldog paid the speeding ticket from Spain? Can you believe he gave up on that struggle so easily? I can't.
I'm kind of like him, actually. Like, to be honest with you, I just don't want the hassle. I'd rather the peace of mind of just getting it done is much easier for me than the hassle of what $50, whatever, $100. Like one side, but I also agree. Like, is this spam? Is it not? And once you realize, you're like, I just want to get it done. I don't care. Like, why worry about this an extra few days?
It was so funny to me, having thought that all along, like suspecting that it was just some breach of the rental car database or something, and I'm getting scammed out of. And when I logged in and see the picture of the car, I'm like, okay, I guess that's me. I'm fine. Okay, here's your $100. Thank you.
I never would have thought it was a scam. I just would have thought I don't need to pay it. Different.
And it's very possible I wouldn't have needed to pay it. I don't know how far that would extend. If I go to France someday to try to rent a car, is Interpol going to be like, I'm sorry, you have an outstanding speeding ticket from 6 years ago in Spain. I don't know what would have happened.
Where in the world is Bulldog? Interpol? Is he in France? Is he in New Zealand? Is Carbon Sandia? Is he in Belgium? Is he located in Belgium?
I have rented cars before I paid that ticket. I had rented a car. I rented a car in Denver. I rented a car in Puerto Rico. No problem. So maybe I would have been fine. I don't know, whatever. But I wanted it off. It's
over.
I just wanted it off my
head.
It's
over, Johnny.
Yeah.
All right. To the injury report. This is where we spend most of our time. You know what? Not yet. We didn't talk yesterday. Mm-hmm. And I know you've had plenty of time to talk about, reactions to the Bills not making a move. Brandon Beane spoke today. What do you make of it all?
I think after listening to Brandon, digesting everything, I think they thought they had a couple deals that they were going to make, and they didn't make them. At least one. It felt to me like today he was kind of saying without saying that, there were things that he believed were going to happen. In fact, he even said at one point, he said, candidly, if I was betting, I would have lost money in Vegas that we didn't make a deal. And, we had the restructure of Taron Johnson the day before. Now, he did explain, and I'm glad he did, because I was also trying to explain to some people, like, in order to restructure contracts, they kind of had to do it the day before that. So they did that on Monday, but I think you do that, A, for operating costs, but also to be ready to make a move. And it felt like they were ready to make a move, kind of the timing of all that. So I think, A, that they felt that they were going to make something, and it wound up not happening. B, I understand the fan sentiment. Like, you're right there, and you want your team to get over the hump and be better and improve yourself. But I also think there's been also an overreaction from a lot of fans of, oh, my God, I can't believe it. They didn't do anything, and that's it. They can't win a Super Bowl. They're still a really good team with as much of a shot to win the Super Bowl as anybody else, because they're really good. And I think they're even, you'd know better than me, Mike. I don't know what the Super Bowl odds are, but they got to be number 1 or 2 or 3 at the worst, right? I mean, like that. It's just an overreaction to think that they're not good enough to do that. Of course, they are still good enough.
Yeah, no, and I even said that a few times yesterday. Like, this isn't like an end or anything. It's just, a missed opportunity to give yourself one more guy, or who knows, more than one more guy, who can make a difference for you on either side of the ball, right? I mean, sometimes it can be one play. You're one play away. They've been one play away a couple of times against Kansas City, as it turns out, on offense, but that can be on defense too. We had a caller earlier bring up the 4th and 17 from the Kansas City game on Sunday, like how much you didn't like that play, and it made things a lot tighter than it needed to be. And yeah, okay. And if I've got one more defender, in a future game, maybe one more pass rusher, one more dude, right? Maybe I make a play there. And that's what I think that's the edge you're looking for. But, as presently constituted, the Bills, of course, are still one of the Super Bowl favorites. They're one of the best teams in the league. I don't think there's any questioning that. So it is just, it tests you as a fan, because you want objectively for them to have the best chance. And so another good to great player you would think, increase your chances, even though not getting that player doesn't kill your chances.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, good to great player, that's tough, right? I mean, if that's what, people, and I know people would love that. Any team wants that and, wants to bring that in. What is the price point for that? What's the cost? He did make a comment today again about the cap. He's like, I can't afford a $15 million player, bring him in here. Meaning how much money they have in the cap. There were guys they could afford, though. There were guys they could afford. And you look around the league, some of the guys that got traded, was it okay, we're not ready to go to that price, or was it the player, right? I mean, he also spoke about the fit and bringing a guy in, and he even mentioned, especially at wide receiver, it's a tough position to onboard real quick. You're game planning. You don't have those reps with the quarterback. Like, what kind of fit is that person for what you're trying to do? How quickly can you do that? All those things have to be considered, right? So I don't think it just has to be, and of course it's part of it, he doesn't want to part with draft picks. Of course, I mean, he has to have an eye towards the future and wants to keep as competitive as a window as possible. And, those draft picks matter. I don't think it's just that. I think it's also in the here and now, how much are you truly improving your team versus the assets given up and what you're doing.
Right. And if you're going for, say, we've talked about how, it's notable. Shaheed was a player that we talked a lot about from New Orleans. It seemed very apparent he was going to get moved with an expiring contract and that team in the state that they're in. But that happened earlier in the day. And if the Bills were hunting for bigger players, bigger names, Brian Thomas Jr., Chris Olave, say, at receiver, you might not want to make a move for Shaheed at 11 a.m. or noon because you're working on something bigger, maybe also with the Saints and or the Jaguars, whatever. And then when that doesn't come through, then, you're sort of stuck. But there is also the possibility that they didn't like Shaheed going back to the draft process for some reason or another, fit scheme-wise or personality. Who knows?
He wasn't drafted.
Okay, well, they still probably would have been familiar with the player from that process, even though he didn't get drafted. Right. But either way, my guess, Sal, I don't know what it's worth if you agree or think this holds water, is that's maybe what happened. Like maybe they would have liked the idea of a Shaheed just fine, but it's early in the day, and they had their sights set on something more substantial, which would have been a bigger deal moving forward, too. I mean, if you were acquiring a player like either of the guys I just mentioned, Olave or Thomas, like there's a number one receiver walking through the door and a contract to come probably soon after, at least in the case of Olave. Thomas Jr. is a little younger in his career, so you would have more runway on that. But anyway, do you think it's possible they passed on a smaller fish chasing a bigger fish and then the bigger fish got away?
Sure, I think it's possible. Absolutely. And in that scenario, you'd say, like, okay, maybe that price is a little too high, and then all of a sudden they does get traded to Seattle, where, like Shaheed example, and then all of a sudden you think, well, if we knew we wouldn't get the other guy, we would have maybe met that price. You know what I mean? Or something like that.
Yeah.
I think it's very, very possible that could have happened.
Well, before we get away from the deadline, what do you think of the Colts move?
Really interesting. I give the Colts a lot of credit for, being aggressive. There's no doubt about that. I would say, though, that, there's no guarantee. This is a team that they have a very tough schedule coming up. Are we really sold on Daniel Jones? I think they are. It's a move that they're sold on Daniel Jones, apparently. But, if it doesn't work out for them, it's not like they have – do they have this really big window? I don't know, because who's the quarterback? It's Daniel Jones. I mean, what does that look like? And they just gave up 2 first-round picks. So if they don't, make it happen this year, I think there's some questioning of this pick for them going forward, to be quite honest with you. It's nice and fine to say that, but if it doesn't work out, where are they?
I like that point that made the rounds a lot yesterday, that the trade is, it's a bet on Sauce Gardner. It's also a bet on Daniel Jones. Or it's a bet on the coach. They maybe think, or maybe the coach thinks, I turned Daniel Jones into this. I'll find me another guy that's on the outs that everybody's laughing at, and I'll find a skill set and I'll make it work. So even if Daniel Jones derails, maybe I think I can do this again.
Well, maybe that's the case, but that's not
it's
easy
a hell of
to
a
do.
bet, right? It's a big bet,
and you're also going to do it without 2 first-round picks to help out. And you traded A.D. Mitchell, who I know that there's got to be stuff there, but what's that as far as their receiving game and passing game? And Michael Pittman's a really nice player, yes, for sure, but Jonathan Taylor's not getting any younger. He's excellent. He's also been in the league a while, right? Like Zaire Franklin defensively, they have some. I don't know. Their roster is it. If the Bills played the Colts today in the AFC Championship, regardless of where it is, aren't the Bills favored?
Probably.
I think so.
Maybe not in Indianapolis.
Yeah, maybe what you're saying about them and their roster, maybe that's all the more reason to go for it right now with Gardner, right? If they're even though they're new on the scene, if they're not like a team that's got a bunch of young building blocks, say, and instead rather a team that's ready to win, and what they really needed was a quarterback to show up and be a lot better than competent. He's playing at an MVP level. Then maybe that's time. Let's go for it.
Yeah, for sure. And I found it interesting that they did that, but yet it wasn't just the Bills guys.
Right.
Chiefs didn't make a move, and yet in here I'm reading Chiefs fans blasting Brett Veach for not making a trade for Breece Hall, right? And I'm reading that. Patriots didn't make a move. Steelers didn't make a move. Broncos, who were supposed to be the super aggressive team, maybe they don't make a move. So yeah, it's not just the Bills, and a lot of teams just kind of stood pat. And real quick, I'll say about the Jets. They've done this before. I mean, all of us, us three, we go way back to talking about draft picks and how great they are. Well, guess what? They've had lots of draft picks, and they've actually hit on a lot of draft picks. But until they hit on the quarterback, it doesn't matter. It's rinse and repeat. And they can do this all they want. They got to hit on the quarterback. What they did, though, to me yesterday was a bet on Aaron Glenn. This is Aaron Glenn's team. I think that's Aaron Glenn and him saying, this is like Sammy Watkins and Ron Darby. McDermott and Bean come in and go, doesn't fit me, let's restart. And he better be right.
With Sal Capacio, the Bills have, again, their share of names on the injury report today, 6 DNPs, and a couple are new names. Can you tell? You have to go case by case, or can you tell if this is more of a play it safe Wednesday kind of thing, or do we have important updates?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm a little concerned that, anytime we don't get a name like Christian Benford before practice and then he's on the injury report, we've been down this road a few times this year.
Yeah.
He shows up with a groin as limited. So what happened? Did something happen at practice? We don't know. So that'll be something to monitor. It was the only one we didn't know about, though, going in. Otherwise, good news, I guess, that Terrell Bernard is at least doing something. He's limited. And Joshua Palmer doing something. He's limited. So that's good news, obviously. Still no Daquan Jones, not doing anything. Taron Johnson, quick turnaround time. He got hurt Friday. Still not doing anything with his groin. A.J. Epinesa, we found out in concussion protocol today. So that's new he finished the game. He's in concussion protocol. I think James Cook, his injury came on the first drive of the game.
Yep.
and he finished. So who knows? You could have some soreness and swelling, and that could wind up impacting him. But I at least want to say, okay, at least he finished the game. And then I don't know about Joey Bosa. He finished the game. He talked with us in the media in the locker room, and then a wrist injury, though, is what's going on there? So something to monitor, obviously.
Yeah, and there's some sleuthing going on that this might indicate that he hurt his wrist a little bit in the Carolina game, even. Not that it ever got listed, but that there was evidence of him like sort of shaking it or whatever. So maybe it's something that's just been kind of lingering around here. But yeah, it's wild, Sal, to think back in the summer and all the conversations around James Cook and their running game and their running backs. Like, Ray Davis was so promising as a rookie. Ty Johnson's really good. Like, the usage should continue to be the same, and that hasn't been the case. Neither of those other guys, Johnson made a couple of plays. He scored a touchdown on Sunday. It's really the first time he has shown up at all. Davis, we're still waiting. He ran a couple of kicks back on Sunday again, but that, as far as the running game goes, suddenly it's like we're a long ways from just plug somebody else in there. Like Cook on the injury report is like, I got the big eyeball emojis going when I see that.
Right. Oh yeah, for sure. I get it. And he's from South Florida. I'm sure he'd love to play there in this game. And he's having such a fantastic year. I will say though, this is a different opponent than last week, obviously, and it is a division game, and it's the Miami Dolphins, and anything can happen, but they just traded Jalen Phillips. It looks like Chop Robinson might not be able to go in this game. We'll see. He's in concussion protocol. Rasul Douglas probably not going to be able to play. He's been pretty good for them this year on the defensive end. This is, to me, like not nearly the same caliber of defense as you're playing last week, right? So we'll see where that goes with them.
Couple more minutes with Sal. Are you in the camp that thinks Dalton Kincaid just simply should play more, or is his usage more sort of understandable because of the game script, especially I guess the Carolina game? But we're seeing him pop in terms of production, but still not play a lot.
I am not in the camp that he should play more. I think a big reason why he's so productive is because he's playing the amount that he is right now and not overtaxing him. I think it really helps to be able to have the two tight ends they have. Now, that's not to say if he doesn't play more, he would be, oh my God, like he's not that productive. What I'm saying is the efficiency is great because you look at the numbers. The reason why the Bills' offense is, so high in so many areas is really because of their run game. And, they have Jackson Hawes and they have Dawson Knox, and especially Jackson Hawes and Reggie Gilliam. There's only so many guys you can put on the field, and that run game relies on those guys to be on the field. So, yeah, it's great what he's doing efficiently, but I don't need him to play more if you're going to keep running the ball. And the way you're running the ball is without Dalton Kincaid really on the field, to be quite honest with you.
Okay. Any questions for us today?
No, I think I'm good. Did you guys did it get really, really, really windy over there? Because here, I literally like garbage cans on the street and stuff like that.
Yeah. I've got an awning on my porch that today was the day I looked out there and went, man, I should have taken that down on the weekend because it's just it can get damaged. Hopefully it won't, but I'm hoping to take it down as soon as I get home tonight in the dark. Yeah. But I just want to get it off the porch because it's in peril.
It's always Dolphins weather in this studio, though. It's not windy. It's hot. There's lights right in my face. It's the same. It's why I wear shorts in here every day, no matter what it's like outside.
All right, Sal. We'll catch up tomorrow.
You got it, guys.
There's Sal Capacio on the West Her Hotline. His appearances are always brought to you by New York's only outlet liquor. When you need to stock up, it's the place to buy a case. What's your outlet? It's a very sad day when we take sad. I'm exaggerating, but like when the awning goes up in the spring, it's like
exciting.
Here comes, all right, we're there, we made it. Porch beers, all right, spring, summer, and when it comes down, it's just, and there's always a gap between taking it down and the Christmas lights going up. Like that's not a one-day transaction. You know, I don't want to put the Christmas lights up until Thanksgiving, so I got to wait a few weeks for that. But the awning needs to get off of there. It's going to get torn up. I don't want that.
You don't want that?
No.
Thunderstorms in the forecast for Miami Sunday. But you never know there. They just pop up.
Right.
84. Manageable.
Right. Hopefully not like a game played on the sun. That game was 3 years ago now. That was in September. So hopefully this is tolerable because that was ridiculous.
They're going to make the Bills wear blue again, though.
They are wearing blue, yeah.
Oh, those I almost said a word I didn't want to say.
I wonder what I mean, if Miami's wearing white, could I wear red? Would that be any less?
Worse.
Yeah, right. I don't know, like what.
You have no choice.
You got to wear dark. That's it. Yeah.
You got to wear dark. That's it.
Unless they want to do you a favor and wear their aqua tops or something, but they're not.
Sal mentioned the Super Bowl odds where the Bills fall. Want to guess the top 5?
Oh.
FanDuel. The Bills are in the top 5.
Top 5 Super Bowl odds.
To win it.
I'm going to say, yes, Buffalo is there. I'm going to say Kansas City is there. I'm going to say Philadelphia is there.
Those are the top 3.
Okay.
Chiefs, Bills, Eagles, in that order.
I have a hard time with the Patriots and the Colts. They're so new. Would Denver be there ahead of both of them? Tampa? What about Seattle?
No.
Seattle's my next guess.
They're not in the top 5.
Okay.
12-1.
All right.
Which ranks them 8th.
Is it the Colts and the Patriots?
Neither. Wow. The Colts are 6th at 10-1. The Patriots are at 30-1. Way down, behind the Niners. Which team is likelier to win the Super Bowl this year, San Francisco or New England? I guess it's about the same by the odds. Niners, according to the odds.
Did I guess Tampa officially?
I don't know, but they're wrong too.
Okay.
25-1.
Oh, Detroit is probably up there.
Detroit is 4th.
Yeah.
Plus 850. And 5th?
The LA Rams.
Right. 9-1, the Rams.
I like that guess. I'm happy with that guess. This is not something I look at.
I thought it was fine. It was right. It was like your 10th guess.
Yeah, you're right. It took me a while to get to the Rams. Yeah, no, that's right. It wasn't a good job, but I like the last guess was right.
I'm nowhere near New England to win the Super Bowl. But at Tampa this week, if they win that game, look out.
Yep, I agree.
Fair chance the Bills can flip places with the Patriots this week. If the Patriots win in Tampa, with the schedule they have, look out. I mean, that's the Bills have some tough games. They're about to get there. After this one, Bucs at the Texans, they can cause problems. Stroud is out this week, right?
Mm-hmm.
At Pittsburgh, Bengals maybe with Burrow. At the Patriots then, at the Browns, the Eagles, and the Jets. That's the stretch for the Bills after this game.
This New England game against Tampa, is it in Tampa or
Yes.
in New England? Okay. Feels right now like the biggest non-Bills game of the year to me. Because I agree. I think that looking at their schedule every time I don't have it memorized, but every time we talk about it, Tampa, even like 3 weeks ago talking about it, Tampa, that's going to be a tough one. You know, I was hoping Atlanta would have a good day against them, and I don't know, they had a good enough day. They only lost by a stinking missed extra point. Well, they would have tied it. Who knows what happens there? But the Tampa game has stood out as like, boy, I'm going to really need Tampa to get that one. Because if they don't, man,
look out.
I think they could really be a problem. They already are a problem. They could continue to be a problem. But if Tampa gets them, I can pass them, go there, beat them. Okay, order has been restored. There's a lot of time between now and then. That's not till week 15. So we got a little ways to go before we get there. But I need Tampa to win this week.
But New England has only winnable games between the Bucs and the Bills games. Jets, Bengals, Giants are their next 3. It's such an easy schedule. If they win this one, they're probably not going away. 803-0550 for your calls. We'll look again after the update. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. This is WGR.
Back to work today. 6 players not practicing. Joey Bosa, James Cook, AJ Epinesa, Taron Johnson, Daquan Jones, and Shaq Thompson. And then 3 players limited. Josh Palmer, Terrell Bernard, and Christian Benford. Benford, though, being the only new name that we learned post Sean McDermott's press conference with the media this morning. Benford is dealing with a groin injury. The Barnes Firm Injury Report, it is brought to you by the Barnes Firm. For help, call 1-800-8-MILLION. We also did hear from General Manager Brandon Beane following the trade deadline yesterday. And if you want to listen back to either him or head coach Sean McDermott, you can do so up at our website, WGR550.com, or on the Odyssey app. Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud is in concussion protocol still and is going to miss this week against Jacksonville and then Arizona. They are placing Kyler Murray on IR as he heals up from a foot injury. And then a light night in the NHL, just 5 games. Utah at Toronto at 7. Washington hosts the St. Louis Blues at 7:30. 9:30 sees Calgary having the Columbus Blue Jackets in town. And then 2 games at 10 are going to wrap up your night. Vancouver hosting Chicago and the Kraken hosting San Jose. That's Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
Here's the thing with Sauce. He hasn't in the last year and a half been the same player he was early in his career. I think he's top 5 in the NFL when it comes to, over the last 2 seasons, defensive pass interference and holding. So they got to get the penalty out of Sauce Gardner, no doubt. But if they and Lou Anarumo can get him to play somewhat the way that he did his first 2 seasons, this secondary in Indy is in the conversation for being the best in that conference, and it's built to beat Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen in the playoffs.
Okay, Dan Orlovsky, Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, 803-0550. Big move. I feel like this says something about me that I'm not proud of, but I both love the trade for the Colts and would never have made it. I'm just not, I don't have the courage, I think, to make that trade, you know? And no one knows that I could have made it either. Because it doesn't get made. It gets made with someone else or it doesn't get made.
Right.
Nobody ever knows that I had that opportunity to, like Brandon Beane knows today, a list of players he could have traded for.
Right. And there's probably a handful of people that would have been in the room with him, you know, helping out that would have some idea about that. I wonder if Josh Allen knows how close they got to anything.
Well,
you know, like I wonder what kind of, I think you would want guardrails on that if you're Beane and McDermott, right? Because I don't think you want the team to know, like, this receiving core, everybody eats, the whole thing, right? If they're really out there shopping for Chris Olave or Brian Thomas Jr., on one hand, a lot of guys on the team, I think we talked about this with Ross Tucker or maybe Eric Wood at one point in the run-up to this. Like, how does it go over in the room? Like, how do guys feel, right? Because, you know, you go through, you know, the whole year, you know, the off-season program, all of it, you're creating relationships and friendships even, and there's this camaraderie. Like, oh, we got a chance to get a really good guy. Ooh, but he's at my position. like, how does Joshua Palmer feel about? But the quarterback is, you know, Allen has been brought up at draft time. You know, I would assume when they're adding weapons to the offense that they run stuff by him to some extent. I wonder if the trade deadline is such a time. Like, it's different than the offseason. You've got more runway in the offseason, although it does culminate, you know, free agency, you know, crests at the moment the market opens, and, you know, everyone doesn't get signed right away, but still, it's a little bit like, it's not quite a deadline, obviously, but it could be similar enough that you get guys, you know, the hopes up of a guy, like, oh, it actually didn't happen. I wonder how that works. You know, like, are they intentional about wanting to make sure the players don't know about it? Do they want to get close on a guy and, like, hey, you know, we might actually really do this. I think we're this small step or that small step away from making a trade for this guy. Do we want to loop Josh in and find out what he thinks about him? What has he heard about him? Should we go talk to Gabe Davis, who spent last year with Brian Thomas Jr., and find out if he likes his Lamborghini in the club too much or something? Like, why do they want to divest themselves of this seemingly very talented young player on a rookie contract? Whatever. I just wonder how much, we're way out here trying to figure out the trail of breadcrumbs and like what might have happened, what could have been available, was it a failure, whatever. I mean, I don't know. What's it like being Josh Allen today, aside from like the super actress wife and all the money and all the stuff, but like his job was gonna, I think, get better if they acquired one of these guys, and then it didn't happen.
I would guess that he is, I'll say, consulted. Hey, what do you think? What do you know about this receiver? What do you know? What do you hear? He's got friends everywhere. Receivers. I mean, we found out one day randomly that Christian Kirk and Allen were good friends. I mean, he might have something to say.
That's another teammate of Brian Thomas Jr.'s.
Last year.
Yeah.
He might have something to say about all of them through his connections. Like, I'd want to use that. And I'd also want Allen to understand, and I mean, I've had my fun with this idea, but I would think that he does, that it's not going to be up to him.
Right.
I want to know what you think. If this is a player you don't like, that might break a tie against this move, and vice versa. But I just would not want to find out, and I never will, because if it were true, they would never admit it, that he has like the leading voice in any of this.
No.
And
I wouldn't want that either, and I doubt that it's true, but you never know.
I mean, Bean was boasting for a couple years there about how excited Allen was about Coleman and Kincaid. Like he was pitching these players is how it sounded. And then he backpedaled on that this year. Like, and he went as far as say all the mock drafts that Allen does and everything like that. And maybe he got the impression like, all right, enough. We don't want anybody to think that he's running the draft room.
That has always sounded to me like, this guy was the top guy on our board. To me, it's like some version of that. To me, when they say that about Allen and whatever, a pass catcher. Oh, he loves him. He wanted him. I
don't think he would lie. I don't think he would lie. I don't think he would have to make up that Allen liked these players. He just wouldn't have to volunteer it, you know? But that's just my guess again. Let's go to Jim here. Hi, Jim.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Good.
I was a little upset yesterday when I was listening to your show around 4 o'clock, and I heard that Breece Hall was going to the Chiefs, and I thought the rest of the night, I was like, man, I can't believe we couldn't figure something out, because I think that's the only thing they're missing is the running back. And then I woke up this morning just to double check, and it never happened. I don't know if you guys know what happened, or
I never heard. You might have got done in by a fake account or something. There was never, right at 4 o'clock, Breece Hall was crying on Twitter about not getting traded and all his guys leaving.
I had friends tell me that it was said on the show prior to ours.
Prior to, right.
Oh.
That's what I heard. But I was listening
did
up
not know
at
that.
4 o'clock because I'm a good listener.
There it is.
Know? But the other thing is with Brandon Beane today, he sounded really defeated. I don't know if you guys picked up on that. Like, usually he's a little more, energetic. But I feel like the way I took it was, did he not pull the trigger on something and now he regrets it, kind of thing? I don't know. He just sounded different. I just wanted to know what you guys thought about his. I don't know.
Yes, thank you, Jim. I thought it, but hadn't thought to mention it because it wasn't like I studied it, and I wouldn't want to make a bad judgment there. I did think it, though. I thought he seemed kind of subdued today, but that could be a misjudgment. That could just be for some other reason. I don't know, but I'll admit to having the same thought.
I do think he probably there's a lot of ifs here, all right? If they were, like we've been sort of speculating around all day, shopping for a big receiver, that in and of itself might have been emotionally taxing, just mentally draining on Beane, given where he has been standing on that subject. So, and again, like I've said repeatedly, I would hope, I would expect even, I would go that far, that wouldn't get in the way. But you're still a human being. right? So if he was trying to do a thing that he knew he might get dunked on for doing because of his public stance about it, maybe that was grueling. Then I don't know. In the end, they didn't end up doing it. And how he talked about it, like you spend all this time sort of poring over it and resources and hours spent trying to figure out what to do and who you want and what's a good deal, and then nothing comes of it. I think it's possible he was really disappointed because I think it makes sense to me that they would have been looking for that player, and I don't know how it came to pass that they didn't get him, but they didn't, and maybe he was wearing that today. Like that wouldn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Jim. Here is Nico. Hello.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Just a little disappointed that we didn't make any moves. The Colts, seeing them give up 2 first-round picks for a player that they think is going to help them right now, and I just feel like giving up the future or whatever you would call it for, giving up those first-round picks for a player would help you. It's like I don't know when the team will be in a better position or one player away from making it. And, okay, so next year's first, we draft a player. Are we going to be one player away then? And so to think that we're not making moves right now to secure a future or to have future doesn't make any sense to me. One, Josh is getting older. It's just really frustrating that we have this thing that we're pretty sure could do it. And we have this one issue or 2 issues that every single person knows about, and we just don't address it. And it's like, okay, cool, we'll get a first. What has a first-round pick done for us besides Kincaid, maybe a little Rousseau? I don't know. It just seems like those players aren't even close to the impact players you can get when you trade your first. So I don't know. I guess we can look forward to the future to having them, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, and look forward to whatever the rest of the season in January. But yeah, no, I hear you. I don't know. Mike said a minute ago, he wants to applaud the Colts for making that trade, but also
would never do it. I don't know about 2 number ones, but I said yesterday numerous times, if a number 1 pick is what it's going to cost for Chris Olave or Brian Thomas Jr., I think it's called for. I think the players are talented enough. It's certainly in the case. Well, both guys have a little bit of a red, if maybe not just a pink flag. Like, what has happened to Brian Thomas Jr. this year, and what is behind that, and is that trouble? That's something you can do your homework on. Talk to Gabe Davis, talk to Christian Kirk, talk to your quarterback, whatever. Figure that out. Olave has had serious head injuries, and so that could be a reason to be reluctant to do it, but either way, I would have spent a first-round pick, not 2, but 1, on any of those guys, Waddle included, if Miami would have even answered my phone call. Yeah, Bean did have a comment today about trading in the division, which was a little bit vague, but maybe that is enough to know what he meant. Wanting to get, maybe it's Waddle, maybe it's Quinnen Williams, or Garrett Wilson. Who knows what he was trying to do there, but nothing got done. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, back after the break. Sports is later. You should know that. This is WGR. Talked about the Super Bowl odds earlier this hour after having Sal on. In the NFC, 5 teams are basically tied in that to win the NFC. Really close. Who would you pick? All even. Who would you pick?
Boy, I don't have any real expertise as to like what schedules are like.
Okay.
Over there. It's hard not to sort of lean Philly's way, whatever warts they've had. I just feel like that's a team that they have a lot of talent, and I think they will find their way.
The division opened up.
Yeah. I'll tell you, Green Bay's had just a couple of really sketchy performances here. I know they've only lost 2 games, but
Browns and Panthers.
Man. So I don't know. I feel a little funny about them.
Me too.
I'm reluctant to go all the way in on Seattle. I mean, they look great, but is it going to hold up? Like, I would expect Darnold to face pressure when they get to the playoffs, and will that go well for him? So I don't know if I can get all the way there. I like a lot about the Rams. There's a couple of defenders I like. I love watching Verse play. You know how much of a crush I've had on Stafford my whole life. I do. And I think he's still playing at a really, really high level.
You still have that poster
yeah.
in your room?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He's with the Lions then, right? Or is it Georgia?
Yeah. No, it's Georgia. Yeah. And I had it customized for blacklight, too. My wife is not a big fan. Because it's on the ceiling, and that's weird.
Yeah, she just looks up, and there's Matthew Stafford.
Right, in like day glow. Like it's an odd, but you know she's
hanging in there.
She respects how much I like him, so she lives with it.
NFC West this week and next. It's all self-contained. Interdivision games both weeks. So Rams go Niners and Seahawks next 2 weeks. Pretty good.
What are the Lions? Are they healthy? Because there's a lot of good players there.
I would sooner. I just feel like I'm just reacting to more recent events. Although they lost last week too, not just Green Bay.
Yep.
Green Bay loss was pretty bad. Detroit was 8.5-point favorite and lost at home
to Minnesota. Right.
I kind of just trust them more than the Packers.
Yeah, me
but
too.
I'm imagining it'll be on Thanksgiving again, the Packers going to Detroit and winning like 40-20 or something like that. Green Bay is hard to figure out.
Yeah.
Their good is really good. They just don't want to. They're us. They just don't want to put the pedal down on offense. And they keep bad teams around because of it. They play slow. They run the ball. They play defense. And I think that causes them to lose games to teams like Carolina.
Yeah.
And the Bills haven't lost a game to a team like Carolina. But I think at the root of everybody's anxiety about their offense is the same thing. It's the same point.
It's how they looked against Atlanta, for example. Like they're going to blitz. Whoa, what do we do?
They keep,
wow,
by
how does that
playing
happen?
slow, you keep the lesser team in the game. Maybe that was Miami in week 3. I don't know. But I think that's a Green Bay point.
Green Bay lost Kraft, too. That's big.
They lost Kraft for the year. Go get Luke Musgrave, Bulldog, on your waivers.
Okay.
If you're still trying over there. I don't know if you are.
I'm not.
You're not.
No.
You're done. You're getting the check on the season.
I'm waiting. I went in there today. It was before we knew about Murray going on IR, but I already thought about releasing him as it was. Now I'm definitely going to. So, and Mac Jones, it looks like Purdy is ramping up. We'll see. That's happened. There's been a false start or two on that, I think, already. So I don't want to move too soon, but my quarterbacks are Flacco, who's on a bye, and Mac Jones, and Kyler Murray, and
Kyler Murray.
That's
IR.
That's my. I've got Jalen Hurts. So I got 4 guys, and only like one of them is playing.
So Murray's out through November now.
Right.
4 games. He wasn't. Was he active? Does it matter?
Yeah, he wasn't on IR. I don't know.
He wasn't on IR.
Right, but that's happening now. So
at least 3 games.
I'm tossing that away.
What a situation.
Yeah.
A lot of those around the league. Miami, Jacksonville, Where do they go at quarterback? People don't seem to like the draft class. It's different this year. Last year was kind of like everybody was mostly set. Only a couple. Aaron Rodgers just sat there and waited for Pittsburgh to do it. I mean, there weren't a lot of openings. Next year, there might be a lot of quarterback-hungry franchises, but where do they turn?
I want to be very careful about, like, sort of projecting, whatever. I'm not doing the scouting, but wasn't it right that last year, leading up to the draft and even during the college football season, like, the quarterback class ain't great, but boy, wait till 26.
I don't remember that. Maybe. You probably do.
I felt like that was out there. You're better off. Don't take Cam Ward. You're better off waiting. And I don't know what happened to that. Is that Arch Manning not looking great and maybe not coming out?
Maybe.
I don't know what's going on there. But you got anything on that, Zach? You look like you're ready to chime in here.
It's most of the big names, Arch being one of them, just
haven't done it.
Yeah, none of them really. Yeah. I mean, Ty Simpson, Fernando Mendoza, they kind of.
But you kind of remember, like I remember, that it was a thing last year.
Was
like
thing.
26 is going to be great.
Yeah,
doesn't sound like it anymore.
I thought maybe the point was going to be that people who said that about 25 were right, because there really isn't anything happening there with Ward,
true.
and we'll see. You never know with this. I just think there'll be a lot of teams who might want to do something and maybe won't be able to.
Right.
How about some reverse AFC power rankings in prime time? We did not get to that yesterday with the deadline. Didn't want to, jump the gun.
That's right.
Now the deadline has passed.
The dust has settled.
Let's do it. After sports, Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, WGR.
Folks, Bulldog here letting you know that every NFL
Dolphins down in South Florida. They do, though, have a Joey Bosa, James Cook, A.J. Epinesa, Taron Johnson, Daquan Jones, and Shaq Thompson, while 3 players were limited: Josh Palmer, Terrell Bernard, and Christian Benford. Benford, though, was the only new name we learned after McDermott did speak with the media today. He is dealing with a groin injury. And the Barnes from Injury Report, it is brought to you by The Barnes Firm. For help, call 1-800-8-million. We also did hear from General Manager Brandon Beane today following the trade deadline yesterday. If you do want to listen to him or the head coach, you can do so at our website, WGR550.com, or on the Odyssey app. Some quarterback news in the league. Texans QB C.J. Stroud in concussion protocol. He is going to miss this week against Jacksonville and Arizona. They are placing QB Kyler Murray on IR due to a foot injury. And then a light night overall in the NHL. Just 5 games. Sabres will be in action tomorrow at home against St. Louis. But tonight, it'll get going at 7, Utah at Toronto. Washington hosts the Blues at 7:30. At 9:30, Calgary has the Blue Jackets. And then 2 games at 10 to wrap up your evening. Vancouver hosting Chicago and the Kraken hosting San Jose. And Sports Talk on WGR is presented by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL games live every Sunday, all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
Schopp and the Bulldog.
We're up there, and here are the people on the panel, so I'm taking pot shots at Brian Brown, because that's what he came to Buffalo for.
It's Mike Schopp.
You literally told E.J. Manuel to his face that he sucked.
And the Bulldog.
I was proud of you, because
I feel like that's what you're there for.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
I know. I couldn't, though. No, I couldn't.
I'm better than you.
On WGR Sports Radio 550.
Here's a text I just got from a friend, and if it had a subject line, it would be the last line of the text, quote, "I feel your disappointment," he writes. You got to talk to Chris. I got a ticket in Italy in 2017. They seemed to try to scare me into paying. We got notices for 4 years, and then it stopped. We've been back to Italy. I've even rented cars there. I feel your disappointment.
Oh, wow. Well, good on you. You're a better outlaw. You're an outlaw. I'm not.
The guy's an outlaw.
I'm a rule obeyer.
Well, you were today.
Rule abider.
A rule abider.
Yeah.
You were not one until today.
No, that's right. That's right.
Matter.
My breaking point was third notice.
Yeah, that's. Watch for the next one now. Yes, we know you paid, but no, they'll just send you another one just to see if you remember that you paid.
It was.
Keep sending you notices.
It's one of these things where I'm a psycho. I will take screenshots of everything. I order shoes, and it says an email has been sent to, whatever, my email address that I don't want to share, or my station one, Bulldog, whatever. A receipt has been sent, confirmation. I'm still taking a screenshot of that page just in case. Just in case I don't get the email, I want to have an order number for the company, whatever.
Do you then?
And then I delete the photo as soon as I see that I've got the confirmation came in the email.
Okay.
And I can't remember why I started telling. Oh, so I did this. I went through this stupid process yesterday where I finally decided. I talked to my friend. She paid the ticket. Same trip. She got the same thing. She paid it. Okay. So I do it. I log in there, and there's the picture of the rental car. Okay, I guess it's legit. I'm gonna just take care of this and get it off my conscience. And I pay. It wouldn't accept the card I was using, the card that my iPad says, here's your card. So I went and grabbed I'm gonna try a different card, and that card went through. But there was not there wasn't a finality thank you for your payment. It was just the screen just went
gracias.
We're done with you. Thank you for your money, and you're out. I'm like, oh, huh. But I was able to print. I printed something that says I paid.
No confirmation number.
But I did not get an email that said thank you for nothing from them. So it's conceivable I would still get another notice.
Sure is.
I guess
It is
is what I'm telling you.
You might get one from me.
And now I'm just ignoring them. But
So
what good does it do? I already paid $100 whatever with the exchange.
Was there a convenience fee?
I don't know. It was $112 with the. I don't know what the hell.
Was there a fine attached because of late payment?
Well, for that it was $50 originally, and it got to $100.
Look at that!
I blew off the discount.
What
anyway.
a sad story.
Well, your friend with the Italy story is making me feel like I'm a chump now.
What a sad story. What a sad state of affairs. Let's cheer you up.
It's not like I would have won parlays with that $100 anyways.
You never know. You have in the past.
No.
Time now for Reverse AFC Power Rankings in prime time. Powered by Empire Electric, your residential neighborhood electrician. Visit empireelectricians.com. We skipped this yesterday because of the deadline. Then there was a hockey game. Could have done it in the evening. Then I had to leave anyway. You know how this works. 16.
I'm going to say Tennessee.
I am too. They're terrible. Their quarterback looks maybe terrible. And they might decide that it's too soon to dump it, which is a worse state of things than what the Jets have, I think. I'd rather be the Jets.
I predict that what happens here is they fire the coach.
Next coach.
Keep going. What's that?
The next coach, right? They already fired.
Oh, that's right. Right. They're gonna go into the offseason, right? The GM's pretty new. Came from San Francisco, I think, right? So like that's not going anywhere. They're gonna bring a new coach in, see if this coach can make it work with Cam Ward. So I think they will stay tied to him, and I would advocate for that. There's just nothing good around him at all. I'm not saying he's blameless. I'm sure he's made I've seen him make some awful plays.
They highlight how bad his throws are sometimes, like how bad the ball looks. Have you seen them do that?
Yeah.
That doesn't
bode
well.
I think they'll try. He's 101. I mean, they're not going to just pull the chute. It's such a train wreck. They'll try the new coach, and he could get the E.J. Manuel treatment next year. Like, we're going to start, and we'll see how it goes. And Kyle Orton and your cigar, where are you?
And like we said, I mean, you could go through it. There are not going to be many options,
right,
at quarterback around the league.
So they'll draft a left tackle, or some generational wideout or something. Like maybe they'll trade out a 101 if somebody has a crush on some quarterback, even though the crop looks thin. But he'll be their starter next year. I would bet heavily on him being their starter next year, barring injury.
They'll draft the next Treylon Burks.
Yeah.
15.
Anyway, they're nowhere right now. Whereas the Jets, who are also inept and bad, and I think, I have a bet that they will not make the playoffs in any of the next 26, 27, 28, 24 seasons.
I'm Miami here. I think the Jets had a great day yesterday. They're on the road to recovery. They're on the road to greatness.
You're a joke. That's what
I'm
you are.
a joke.
You're a joke. You're as big a joke as the Jets.
I'd rather be the Jets than the Dolphins right now.
I fully agree. It's like my favorite thing that happened in like the last month.
Miami?
I'll go Miami, yeah.
Bulletin board.
I don't disagree that the Dolphins are a mess. We'll hear more about that in a little while. The reason I have this bet on the Jets, I don't think the the ownership, they're just.
Yeah, no,
congrats on all the picks.
I'm almost ready
They
to
just
call the
traded
Jets.
away a bunch of guys they drafted when they had a bunch of first-round picks in the same draft. Like, they are a joke.
That's what you do, though.
It's got to work at some point.
It might.
It's been a while.
It's been a bit.
I don't like having interrupted you in your Jet take. I just wanted to get Miami in before Zach said Jets. I wanted to. Wanted to say. And I didn't know he was going to say Miami.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get Miami
I understand.
On the board.
Yeah.
He's actually going to be the Raiders.
14.
I was going to say the Jets, at least they do have the picks. Like that's something that none of these other teams at the bottom have. And that gives you, to me, a leg up on the other awful teams. But I would just as soon predict the Jets are going to pick. If there's 4 quarterbacks that people are arguing about, they will pick the 5th worst one.
Okay.
Is what the Jets will do.
Okay.
Because they're the Jets. They found their way to Zach Wilson somehow.
Yep, they did. 14.
Who are some other bad teams?
Your point has been made. Your Jets.
I'm Jets, yeah. Sorry, Jets.
I will say... Got to go fast. I'm ruining this. I'll say Jets. Fine. You want it so badly.
It's because I spent all that time carrying on about whatever I was carrying on about. Was it speeding tickets still?
13.
Now.
Yes.
It's like 5 minutes ago, and I literally cannot remember.
Browns?
Yeah, sure, Browns. What's good there?
What's good there?
Golf clap, Myles Garrett. Good for you. Very happy to see you stay in Cleveland.
Just want to win.
Great job.
12.
They might be on track to be decent by the time your biceps both tear off.
Wow.
Good job, Myles Garrett.
You're just firing now. You're upset with yourself for that speeding ticket, I think.
Yes, I am.
Coming out
yes,
here.
I am. That's
You're taking it out on Myles Garrett and me and the Jets.
You know me so well, Baxter.
12.
Raiders.
That's not even the right line, is it?
It might be. It's close, at least. 12.
Yeah, did someone say Raiders just now?
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, what's good there?
Bowers. Tight end 1 by a lot. Well, Bowers McBride. 1-2. 1A, 1B. That's by Tyler Warren.
Right.
Interesting times at tight end. I'm realizing.
I hope he enjoys their 8th rebuild in the last 5 years.
11.
Bengals.
I'll say Jacksonville. Who would you rather play? Bengals are scoring 40 points a game and losing. No.
Yeah, I'm going who I'd rather watch, so I'll go Jacksonville here.
Jacksonville at 11. 10. Oh, I'm using a bad pen, and it's finally catching up to me.
I'm hitched to the Bengals, so I guess I'll just stand there.
Sure. 9.
Houston.
Texans. Yep, Houston Texans. Houston Texans, a team in the league.
Poor Davis Mills and his giant, awkward-looking neck.
That is their slogan, by the way.
Poor Davis Mills and his awkward-looking neck?
A team in the league.
Oh, okay.
Member club is how they what they go by.
That's great.
On the billboard right out front. Member club.
Stroud is already ruled out this week, by the way. That's why I'm mentioning Mills again. Good luck.
I don't like anything there. You keep asking that for these other teams.
Yeah.
I guess I like their edge rushers, but
right. Yeah.
And Stingley. A few good or great defensive players. I don't know what to do with Stroud. I don't think he's going anywhere, but 2 bad years in a row? 1 good one, 2 bad ones?
He was showing signs of life right as he got this injury, though, right? Then wasn't like last week was maybe throwback Stroud day. Like he looked like he did his first year.
Who did they play?
I think. I don't remember. I just remember hearing about that he looked good for the first time in a while.
Okay.
Or even
Probably
great
right.
maybe for the first time in a while. But so maybe bad timing there, but yeah, they might be toast.
8. We got to fly. 8.
Pittsburgh.
Sure. I don't have a better idea. 7. LAC.
All right. Sure.
Pittsburgh at the Chargers Sunday night. Is that a good game? No, it's not a good game. It's not that.
Depending on what the Chargers wear, it'll look good.
What they wear it'll come down to the clothes.
It could look good. Yeah.
Please no throwbacks.
Yeah.
I like the Charger navy blue. I feel like that should be the Abraham Lincoln meme there, where I stand up in the room and announce I actually like the Chargers in the dark blue. Midnight, something they call it.
It's all right. The powder blue to me is way better. I don't know if you're saying different.
I think I am.
Okay.
I definitely would say way better.
Then you are that, and that's Lincoln, by the way.
Isn't it?
I don't know.
Young Abe Lincoln?
It just looks like
I kind of hope it's.
It looks like a Rockwell painting. I don't know what it is.
I've always thought it was supposed to be Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, I don't know.
6.
The guy in the brown jacket and the flannel shirt.
Yeah.
That guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. 6. Ravens.
Denver.
Ravens.
Baltimore, 3 weeks in a row at least in the 6th spot. 5, Denver.
Yeah.
4. New England.
Okay.
I was going to say something like, oh, they escaped Atlanta, which beat Buffalo. I mean,
yep.
I thought it was a good point until I got halfway through it.
Yep.
Drake London, spectacular game for London. Incredible touchdown catches. 3 in the game. Number 3.
Colts.
Kansas City.
Colts. Bad loss. 2.
Chiefs.
Bills.
Chiefs.
Look at this.
You know the Bills beat the Chiefs on Sunday?
No, I didn't know that. Explain it to me. How do they do it?
Well,
they threw all over them. They kind of did, right? They kind of did,
yeah. the tight ends, anyways. Yeah, right.
They kind of threw all. Could you really get away with saying that? Did the Bills throw all over the Chiefs? It was a good win. No doubt.
I think one of the best game plans on both sides of the ball, like coinciding, like defense and offense both. There were very few mistakes made, I think, in that area. Like there's a 3rd and 10 bubble screen that I could see not liking. Like watching the game, we hate that play except when it gains 12 yards. It works often enough for them to keep trying it, and they don't have anything downfield, so they do that, and sometimes it works, and then 3rd and 10 it didn't. That was a bad play. 4th and 17 was awful. Everything else, I thought like masterful. Scheme-wise, they just did a lot of good things.
Reverse AFC Power Rankings on WGR are powered by Empire Electric, your residential neighborhood electrician. Visit empireelectricians.com. The Bills at 1. The Dolphins at 15. There's your Week 10 matchup.
Mm-hmm.
It is Week 10. Buffalo at Miami. Over-under, longest field goal, rest of the season in the NFL. The line is 66.5.
Bang the over.
Bang the over. 6-1 odds for over 60 or 69 yards or more.
There will be games in Denver. Bang the over.
There's the number. Armando Salguero, always a pleasure to chat with Armando in advance to Bills-Dolphins games. We did that very thing earlier today, and we'll have that conversation for you next. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. This is WGR.